Okay. We're back. It's pretty wild out there, but it's calming down some. It's not too bad. There's no tornado warnings or anything. Alright. See how much of London we can get done here. So starting and stopping like that is like a cardinal sin of streaming, but fuck it. I wish Mordred had gotten to be a major character in a singularity that wasn't written forever ago. And like because of that, now they're like never gonna use Mordred again. So like we're just stuck with shitty writing Mordred. And then Lostbelt 3 for some goddamn reason. Okay. Yeah, I think we're good now. It's calming down. Probably do an account review in a bit. I hope they revamp the early story, like do some writing and, you know, changes and that kind of pacing stuff, less filler, better boss fights. That'd be cool. Because honestly, most of the early singularities are fine in premise. It's not like they're inherently bad, especially Orleans. I think Orleans and London are probably the two best settings. Did you bribe Zeus to let you stream? Yeah, it's calming down now, so hopefully. Okay, time to fight a clown. Dude, he is so wasted in this singularity. Like, you kind of show up, get some generic dialogue, and then he dies, and some generic dialogue, and then he's not in it anymore. It's like, what the fuck is the point of that? I guess that's the case with a lot of early FGO stuff, but still. I want the Buster or the Art. I'm gonna go for the Art, because higher crit chance in a big game. At least the pirates are like in the story a bit before they die, right? There's some character moments with them before. I mean, not much. It's pretty generic stuff, but Babbage is like the only antagonist in this story that has anything interesting going on. But even he, you don't really see until right before you kill him, right? Just, kind of bland. I like Antonio's interlude he got a while ago. It's kind of cool. Nothing too fancy, but... And then you got frickin' Romulus and Boudica working together for like KFC for the kids. That's a real serious moment right there. We're probably not gonna kill him before he NPs us. Blackbeard's crew, if I remember correctly, are like zombies essentially. They're kind of just phantom pirates, right? They're not like full-fledged thinking pirates, or they're not like the pirate equivalent of Iskander's NP, right? Like not at all. But I think they're pretty much there permanently, right? He basically has them all of the time. Like his ship can kind of just... Also, I can't remember, but can his ship fly? I don't fucking remember. Are we like Peter Pan here? I can't remember. I don't remember if he has to actually like take his ship to some kind of water or not, because that would really suck if he did, because, you know, he might get summoned in an area where there's not much in the way of water, right? That could really limit your usefulness. Like, what are you gonna do? Find a lake, right? Just put your ship in the lake? Like, well, I hope they come to me. Let's see. I mean, Zeus is always a cool boss fight. Although I prefer Zeus without an Avenger, just because so many of the players don't have one. Actually, that's not true. A lot of the player base does have an Avenger. It's just Antonio who is worthless in that boss fight. But what are you gonna do? I think I taunt Mordred because I'm gonna let her die next turn. Unless by some miracle she gets her NP here. Has Zeus's character material been translated yet? Because I know it came out, but I haven't looked into that in a little while. Hey, we actually got our NP. Okay, let's see if we just kill here. You have no buffs though. 83k. I feel like Ushi's gonna do like 30k, 35k, and the Mordred's gonna do like 10, 11. Yeah, 10, okay. Let's see if I'm right here. Nope, we did even less. Fantastic. Okay, we're not even close. By the way, this Noble Phantasm lore-wise is like horrifying. It like attacks Servant's spiritual core. It's like really messed up. He's honestly a really scary Servant lore-wise. I think if he was like not getting plot armored, because the kind of character he is, he's never going to be super important, and I think he'll always get plot armored. But like, he can set up all these like crazy booby traps inside his like territory. You know, he's got territory creation and all that, and then he's got a skill called like Clown's Laughter or something like that, where basically the enemy will always fail a luck check, like or anything like that. Like because that's a thing in Fate. Like the servants have like stats under the hood where like they have to do checks and stuff, and they'll always fail. That's really messed up. And he's got some other he's got I think his NP they actually have to do a check, and he would be so good if he worked with Ku or Caesar, because obviously if you did the Clown's Laughter, Bulg would just be guaranteed to hit them in the heart no matter what, and then Caesar's NP would like go off forever. So that'd be pretty messed up, because Caesar's NP like keeps swinging until they pass a roll check, and they keep rolling every swing essentially. Okay, most of our units are dead. Feels bad. Good charm, good charm. I guess I just normal card him down. It is still storming here, but it is less bad. But see, this is what I'm talking about. Oh, this is kind of nice though. We'll have a cozy stream today, but starting and stopping the stream is like the cardinal sin of streaming, because it won't send out the notification again. So we went from like 200 viewers to 60, right? Like that's you don't want to do that. Thankfully, I'm already a partner, so it doesn't fucking matter. I could have 10 viewers and it wouldn't really affect me. So feels cozy, man. Hopefully Cairo gets a partner so he doesn't have to worry about that kind of stuff anymore. It's actually better if you stop streaming to stop for a while and then start streaming again, right? It kind of resets everything. Or if you stop and start, it's pretty bad. I think Cairo will get it if the last few of his streams count. If they don't, then it's iffy. But if his last few streams counted, I think he'll get it. And if he doesn't get it, he'll definitely get it next time, as long as he doesn't give up. The only thing that I'm kind of worried about is like, and I don't. This sucks for FGO, because FGO is not good at bringing in new players. Like, it's just not. To get Twitch partner, you have to... It's not just about views and stuff. You have to get a certain number of followers within a certain period of time. So even if you got like 1 billion followers 3 months ago, it doesn't count, right? You have to get a certain number of followers like within the week or whatever. And FGO is really bad at new people. Most people that watch YouTube on Twitch at this point, it's already kind of settled, right? Like there's not a lot of new stuff going on here, so it's rough for FGO people. If there's ever like a really, I'm telling you, FGO could really revitalize itself at any time if they actually put in the effort, and because the Fate IP is so big, and if there's ever like a new anime that brings a lot of attention to it, and then if FGO is doing well and making the new player experience good, and they do some marketing, they can always, they can absolutely bring in new people, like no problem. They just got to get their, ducks in order, or whatever the fuck the saying is. Eggs in order. Why am I doing George's cards? I'm not sure Tsukihime would bring that many people into FGO, unless they did a collab, I guess. If they did like a Tsukihime anime and then a collab, then that would probably bring in a lot of people, actually. Assuming the Tsukihime remake goes over well, right? Which it should. Other than the like marketing where they're shooting themselves in the foot, other than that half of it, but so that was a lot easier than a lot of the boss fights prior, and we haven't really leveled up since then, so not a very hard fight there. I'm telling you, if they would have just put it out on PC themselves and it worked with, so you like ordered it, Vols? You're doing the old delivery option. Although I guess aren't you stateside right now? So if you're stateside, that's your only option. Actually, in that case, I'm surprised that it got there that fast then. But yeah, they're actually going to have a bigger piracy problem because they didn't put it on PC and they don't have an official translation. Like if they had an official translation coming out at the same time, because a lot of games do that now. It's very common to actually have the translation work being done as the development work is being done, so it comes out at the same time, right? That's actually pretty common these days. And if it doesn't come out at the same time, normally it only comes out like a week later, right? So I think if Tsukihime had like, yeah, there's going to be an NA version in like a week or the day of, either way, and they had a normal PC version, I don't think they'd be having the piracy issue that they're already having. Man, we're really gonna have to do something about assassins at some point. Just don't die. Darius is in P1, feels bad. I just want to blow my SQ so I can get some 3 stars. Now, right now, there's no English version, and I wouldn't hold your breath. I mean, it's honestly insane that there's no English version with, like, you look at the market and how much money they make and everything. But Type Moon has never been big on bringing things to NA. They just never have. The only time they bring things to NA is when their publisher does it. And, like, because the publisher, is big on that money. But they have not really brought any of their visual novels to NA officially, ever. Like, they didn't even do, Fates Tonight, Fate Hollow, however the fuck you say that other one, and the original Tsukihime. None of that stuff ever came over here. The only time they bring stuff over here is when they happen to partner with a publisher, and the publisher has the decision, and they just like, yeah, we're bringing it to NA, right? But yeah, other than that, it just doesn't happen. Like, if it was up to them, I don't think we'd have Fate Extella and Fate Extella Link in NA. Like, I'm serious. If it was up to Type Moon, I don't think we would have it. The only reason we do have it is because there was another publisher involved, so. Well, there's our NP already. Due to they seem to like work with Aniplex and DW like for a lot of things, like not just FGO. I would imagine Aniplex is going to want to push them to do more stuff stateside, just because money. So who knows? Why did I do the crit one first? Not that it was going to crit or anything. Pretty sure there was a different publisher involved with Fate Extra, but that was before Fate was big, and That was what, PSP, which PSP sold decently well, but it wasn't like the hottest thing ever in the States. And then Fate just wasn't that popular back then. I don't think it actually sold that well. But some of that's because the gameplay was atrocious. It did not help things. Pretty sure the publisher on that one was ArcSys, which is a sister company to Arc System Works. Which I'm not sure that company exists anymore, actually. Let me check. Because they used to, like, they were like a second party company, essentially. But I think they might have gotten rid of them just because, like, the way they handled, like, their localization stuff recently. Trying to find them here. My god, Fate Extra has had so many different companies involved with it. Good god. I cannot imagine the profit split was particularly good there. Okay, ArcSys is... I think they're still in business? Let's see, what was the last thing they did? They did stuff in 2020. Doesn't look like they've done anything in 2021, but they did do stuff. Yeah, they did Under Night and Birth and all that, and that's with the French bread, and they're like buds with Arc System Works. Man, they haven't done much in a while though. Huh. I wouldn't surprise me if they've just been like absorbed back into Arc System Works. I don't know. But yeah, they did Fate Extra way back in the day. I should have healed there, and I probably should have taunted Shin-Gong, because they could have killed Darius there, and all this like prep work I've been doing would have gone to waste. That'd have been horrible. When you're having to like semi-pay attention to trash mobs, you know it's bad. Oh, the final wave is 8 and 15k. Oh man. God, I keep like holding on to my resources, expecting the final wave to, you know, actually matter, and then it's a joke. Could have just NP'd with Mordred earlier. Danger, yeah. I'll take the mana prisms though. Chop resets pretty soon. There's just no way to get mana prisms on this account right now. Normally, summoning 3 stars or whatever would be really good, but that's not really a thing on this account because we don't have all the 3 stars yet, so I don't burn them. And there's been no events this month at all. There's no events since this account was created, so it really has not had a good time. I'm desperately trying to get these bow items, but not looking good. Clearly got chat, I should pick my free 5-star and burn it, right? That's what you do. There's no story support. And I'm too lazy to, Wait, is this a boss battle? This might be a boss battle. Okay, hold on. I was just gonna summon, you know, whatever the fuck, but, it's a boss battle. I don't want to waste it. This might be Mordred. Would explain why I can't summon Mordred. I miss Romani, don't we all? I have no idea if you get a rare prism from the free 5-star because I don't think very many people burn it, so... They say they don't want to do main interludes often, but they haven't done one in over a year, so... Does my 1 to 3-star account have Caesar? Because Bedivere didn't exist back in the day. Okay, it does have Caesar. I'll give him Leyline. There we go. Alright, let's do this boss and then we'll do an account review. Wait, why am I summoning Caesar? This is a saber. Excuse me. David is probably the best thing to summon. It's kind of fun anyway. These should, though, add main interludes frequently. They would really help the game out. My crap account does not have Kid Gill leveled. It has more archers, though, than a lot of other classes. I think it has Robin, Billy, Arash, and David. Go double David. That's the meta. It's 30 starting NP, 40. Obviously this is the best, but do that. Can't charm Mordred. Backup is still decent though. Need to level George. Gonna die pretty fast, I feel. Switch to the defense up so I can evade turn 1, David. I have so little starting NP. Yeah, that's it. Alright. Do you even Phantom? I know, right? Actually, Phantom couldn't do it at this level. You'd have to, level him up so he gets his upgrade. Okay, she gets her NP in 4 turns. I'm doing this evade first because it comes back sooner, and the other David is probably only ever gonna evade once anyway, so I might as well do it later. The cooldown will be even higher, but it won't matter. That way I can actually get this one back. Not sure the fight is going to go on long enough for that to matter, but just in case. I like how she did bust her up after using her buster attack. Very smart, Mordred. I almost want to not use David's NP because he's kind of over leveled and he's got an upgraded NP. We'll just end her like immediately. I think I heal George. Get another turn out of him, that'd be good. Okay, if she pings off the shield, we just use the other one. Dude, I could kill her next turn, I think. Messed up that crit chance, but whatever. Could do the big evade. Eh, no need. I'm gonna pretend this David is like a story support or a friend support that's not on your friends list, so no NP. Cause I'll kill her immediately if I NP here. So fun. I want to get value. Yeah, I hope David gets an animation update. There's so many that need it though. Hey Rabbit. Like Shakespeare, Mozart, Matahari, Protoku, Phantom, Sanson. Goes on and on. David, obviously. Leonidas. Stereos. He's totally deserving. And they should have him whip out the harp when he uses the harp skill. Wow, even baby David beat the shit out of Mordred there. Pretty easy, not gonna lie. I wonder if this account could handle the anniversary version of Mordred. Probably. A 70 David could probably just solo it. The anniversary version was harder, but it wasn't that noteworthy. Trying to save. Alright, you know what? She has so little health. We'll do it now. See the damage. They've had a lot of opportunities to update Asterios, honestly, or just use him in general, and they generally don't. And that would have been most of her health bar right there. David is not divine, generally speaking, but you could argue he should have divinity in a similar way that Martha has divinity. But he's also a really old servant, so really bad about that kind of thing. Yeah, when they used Minotaur in Lostbelt 1, that'd have been a really good time to have done it. This is like my only account that doesn't have Angra. Maybe they'll do a fake Prototype collab someday, but I really doubt it because Fate Labyrinth, excuse me. I was saying that because Fate Labyrinth was the story that kind of brought, Prototype into the main canon, but Fate Labyrinth is pretty much all old servants. They didn't introduce anything new there. The only thing that was kind of new there was Asterios, because Asterios had not been seen in FGO yet, because FGO wasn't released when Fate Labyrinth came out. But, it's a short story, and, let's see, it had Curse Arm in it, Robin Hood, Artoria, Medea, Asterios. I think I'm forgetting one. I think there's one other servant in there. But yeah, it's all stuff that's already in the game, so. The only way they could collab with it is if they added, like, the Masters, which there's only, like, 3 of, I think. Is it 2 or 3? It's mainly the bad guy, really. Gray's in it, actually. Oh, actually, I can do my free FP roll. Did they not give story supports their 3rd skill back in the day because they expected the player not to have it at that point? I feel like even on JP, a lot of people would have third skills by London. Like on NA, of course they did, because NA had dailies that whole time, so they had months of farming dailies and doing events. Or in JP, I don't think got proper dailies until like right before Go West, I think. Still, London, it was like 6 months into the game or something. So by then, I figure quite a few people had third skills. Yeah, now if they were missing a skill, it's because of like a lore thing or whatever. JP was entirely unprepared for unfixed Go West. Yeah, pretty much. It had to be a pretty miserable experience there. I only ever did the rerun on JP, and the rerun was a bit easier. And then NA was lucky, and they had the rerun as the original. It was still bad though, like it still sucks. Huh, did I already do my FPS summon? Sometimes the UI doesn't show it properly. Give me Chin Gong. Damn it. That is a Geronimo. Alright, account review time. Let's see. We will do Babylon 328. I have a feeling this is a flex account because the first screenshot is a level 100 2K4 foe Gorgon. I swear I've done nothing but flex accounts these last few days. Hey everyone, I'm Babylon, and here, for flex review, for some context, this is my account that I started after first Christmas. I'm assuming this is NA. Yep, I can see NA text there. Where I played for a year without a 5-star, and this year I stopped playing for a while after not getting Lovely Hag with 400 SQ. Who is Lovely Hag? That could be a few things, I feel. And then returned with Gorgon Banner after pulling her in my last summon. That's cutting it close. And after that, I never managed to pull her with a raid up again, but got 2 in GSSR and 2 in Story. And I'm a low spender, so like a dolphin or a fish. Almost 110. Scath could be. There's quite a few that it could be, really. Okay, Mev is NP2, Suzuka's NP2. I'll get Mo with a free GSSR and Grailer. So right now Mordred's NP1, but whenever they do the free 5-star, you're picking Mordred. She's already 10-10-10. Well, Mordred, even at NP1, is good at farming. She's not like 10 out of 10 or anything, but still pretty solid. So between Mordred and an NP2 Suzuka, that's most of your AoE needs there. It makes you very buster focused though. Hokusai and Mev actually work pretty well together. Mev is pretty fucking weak though. Like she's normally not worth it, even when like the card colors and stuff do line up. But you get good options there, and even Brave Liz is a good backup DPS. And you got Ziggurat as single target and also an anti-dragon, so you got really good saber options. And you have Bedivere, so you have really nothing to worry about. But yeah, if you get Mordred to NP2, that'll go far. I've got NP2 Mordred on a few accounts actually. Napoleon NP2, Ishtar NP2, Atalante NP2, Emi NP3. So that's interesting. Emiya versus Atalante when one's NP2 and Emiya's NP3. Probably depends on your supports. What we got here? Got Waver and Scatty and Cam. Well, Atalante is definitely the better one for farming then because you have Scatty. It's not even close. And Grailed Scatty. That makes me think when you said Hag, you were talking about Scath because you bothered to get Scatty and Grailed her. So that would be my guess there. So yeah, you favor Quick quite a bit there. So you got giant ass Grailed Medusa Lily there. I was super hyped for Babylonia anime, and after I got Grailed, Anna MP4, Body MP2, Lancer Ultra MP2, and there should be a 2k Hag here. Yeah, it's definitely Scath. I can't seem to find her even after 2.5k SQ. That feels really bad. It's like the game needs a safety net or something. Reshigal, though, will go places. She's basically AoE and almost single target at the same time with how good she is. And you got Brunhilde there. That's a rare one. I don't see a lot of people with Brunhilde, honestly, but she's a really good Lancer. Like, she's really, really good. That sucks, though, when you really want Scath and you get Brunhilde, and clearly Brunhilde's not the one you were gunning for, and she's not even 10-10-10. But yeah, between Medusa, Lily, Parvati, and a Reshigal there, you kind of got all your bases covered. Probably worth leveling Leonidas, though, just for taunt wall options, because I don't think you have one leveled. Pretty much everyone wants taunt wall options at some point. Especially for nasty single target bosses. Well, you're definitely ready for Demeter. Skill ranks are kind of sloppy, but I mean, between Aussie and Ushi, you're totally good there. NP6 Trap Base. Well, there's some rare prisms for you. Oh, you have Ryder Mordred, so I guess you're a Mordred fan then. Yeah, Scath gets other raid ups. Scath has honestly had a lot of raid ups throughout Echo's life, so it's not too hard to get her if you actually save up for her. Especially on an A with Clairvoyance. If you actually put your mind to it, getting Scath is pretty easy. Jack was my first 5-star, and even got her from GSSR MP2. Well, she's really good. If you like Jack, she has no problems absolutely murdering bosses. Probably worth getting her to 10-10-10 just because of how much she can carry. Considering Jack is in P2, you're probably never going to need that MHX outside of like weird niches, so feels bad. You got Gray for AoE, got Wu for support. You got Wu and Scatty, that's really good for quick units. And Jack is a quick unit, so how about that? You got Body, so that's another quick unit. Got a Grailed Ishtar. You don't have loads of quick DPS though. You do have Atalante, but it seems like a lot more Buster between like. Especially for your big stuff, you know, Mordred and Ishtar, Napoleon, right? That's all Buster stuff. Brunhilde as well, but Parvati is quite good. Alright, let's see. So DPS caster, you've got Shootin' and Nero caster. That's probably all you ever need. I doubt there's ever an oh, and Plot Monk, excuse me. So yeah, you're never gonna have assassin killing problems. You probably should level that Asclepius though. You don't seem to have that much anti-debuff, and even the whalest of whales can run into a boss fight where debuffs are a big problem. Like, oh, I don't know, Fluffy, you know, it's pretty nasty. Got Grailed Herc, it's always nice. Used to do everything with Herc. Yeah, it's works pretty well. It's in P2. You've got Lancelot to work with Scatty. And that works pretty well even at low skill ranks. Wow, that's a big Luvia. Too bad she's only in P1, but you know you get plenty of chances at her, I suppose. If you, well, not really. They haven't. Did they raid her up in 5.2? Or in 5.1, the second banner with Achilles. I think they did. Yeah. It's that they didn't raid up Chiron. So yeah, there are chances. Oh, there's MHX. See, XX. She's in P2. That's probably your best DPS for Fluffy in 2 years then. MHXX is just godly for that fight, and then she's in P2. Kind of great. I like the Pinth there. Pinth's always good. Trying to think if you have a different DPS that would be better. You've got plenty of options, but yeah, I think MHXX is your best for Fluffy. I don't see anything better here. There's other options, but yeah, she's definitely the best one. Sadly, if you had Scath would be very good there, because I just imagine you're going to Grail her and 10-10-10 and all that. And Fluffy does have Divinity, so Scath is super good there. Mash is not 10-10-10 yet, though. Tisk. Can you even have the mats to do it? So, I always recommend getting on that. Although I guess it's less necessary in an account this... because you got Waver and stuff. I don't know, though. She still has 0 team cost, so I think it's still worth it. That's a respectable amount of apples. I do all lottos. Some guys like you use a lot of apples for the lotteries. Got spooked. Wait, you got spooked 8 times trying to get Scath? Is that right? Did you get spooked 8 times trying to get Scath? That's awful. The odds of that are atrocious because anytime you pull a 5-star, I think it's like a 70 or an 80% chance to be the rate up nowadays. I think it's 70 if I remember correctly. And yeah, failing a 70-30 8 times, that's not great. It's like we need a safety net. Imagine that. Well, yeah, that's a respectable amount of apples. Alrighty, let's this might be Babbage or something right here. Sushi, George. I'm not sure there's any reason to use Mordred, but why not? Definitely no reason to use Scath here. What kind of self-respecting game has a safety net? Yeah, basically all of them. Does EFCO even realize, like, they're like the only... Oh, hey, it's Nursery Rhyme. I was thinking Babbage was later. I just couldn't remember the caster boss this early. Yeah, I remember this now. And after this, she goes to her normal form. Let's see. Crime, yeah. This sweet Ushi. Art Chain. Kind of strange that the book talks like that. Man, I hope she gets an animation update and they actually put effort into the book form, but I don't think they will. Like, honestly, because she's got the 2 forms and she's not particularly popular, I think that's all the more reason for them to phone it in. Probably going to be very particle effect heavy. What they might even do is, like, the particle effects between the book form and the normal form will be the same, right? I could see them doing that. Even has playing cards, man. It's awesome. I think Nursery Rhyme and Bunny Artoria are like the only deck of cards going on in this game. Making 8 stars, and we had 0 stars from the previous turn. Fantastic. Didn't crit once. Please attack Mordred once. No, come on, Mordred. No, only has 2 actions per turn! I should have taunted Mordred. Surely we'll just round up here. Hey, Cairo. There's some famous gamblers that would actually make interesting servants. I can't remember his name, but there's this gambler, my brother, I've done a lot of research on him, but I can't remember exactly how it went, but he had a saying that was essentially, because he was like a real hustler, right? Especially in like that era of like early America. But he had a saying that was essentially, it's immoral not to part a rich sucker from their money, because he was really good at that. So, because that's how he justified it. But it's kind of funny. Yeah, there's a lot of rich people that get into gambling like casually. Get taken advantage of without even knowing it. But they had the money to burn, so... Hey, Sonic, Brandon, thank you for the 8 months, dude. 20k is not bad, all things considered there. I wonder if we had alignment bonus. Mordred, I would think, would be Earth. Let me look. Before she's man, because Artoria nonsense. Okay, no, she's Earth. That's right, because Mordred didn't actually exist. And let's see, what is nursery rhyme? I would think she would be Earth as well. Either that, yeah, it's gotta be Earth. I can't imagine. Well, I mean, the stories existed, and now she's man. I guess it's because she's nursery rhymes that, like, the stories themselves didn't exist, but the books did, if that makes any sense. Because she's technically, like, the stories, right? She's not really a person, she's a concept. And in real life, we did have those stories. That's really weird, but I kind of get what they're going for, because it's kind of like, you know, Achilles is a real legend, but he's just representing this character from that legend, and that legend wasn't real. Where nursery rhyme is not representing those specific nursery rhymes, she's representing just the concept of nursery rhymes in general, and those nursery rhymes did indeed exist. But that is kind of weird to be man. It's a little funky, because like I'm pretty sure they're all fictional stories, right? So I kind of get what they're doing there, but that is kind of fucked up. All right, how does man versus Earth line up? Let's see. Earth does do bonus damage to man, so that's part of why Mordred did such good damage there. Odysseus wasn't a Gundam pilot? Yeah, I'm sorry to break it to you. That it's not reality, unfortunately. Fate might be taking some minor liberties with that one. Maxwell's demon should be Earth, because he's not Maxwell. Maxwell was real, but Maxwell's demon is not, so he absolutely should be Earth. I think a lot of people have messed that up, where they think Maxwell's demon is Maxwell, but he's not. It's in the name, actually. I really wish he was playable, though. 2-star battery support, maybe NP up as well, that kind of thing. That'd be awesome. I think he'd make a great addition if he wanted to do a batch of bronzes again. I think it'd be the perfect way to add him. He's not representing, though, the experiment. He's representing the demon that was, like, an example in the experiment. He's exactly the same as Achilles, right? Like, the legend, like, the Iliad existed as a story, but the things inside of it are fictional. And it's the same thing for Maxwell's demon, right? The experiment happened, but the demon, you know, that they were using as a, like an example, right, for the principle, did not. Now, Nursery Rhyme's pretty unique, because she's not representing, you know, like the characters from the stories. You know, she's not Alice in Wonderland or anything like that, right? She's just the concept of the stories, right? Maxwell's demon is not the concept of the experiments. Obviously, his abilities are related to them, right? But, some weird fucking servants out there, by the way. He exists in my heart. Certainly not in the game. Ahem. Maybe someday. He's actually pretty high on my list of characters that we know, like, have official FGO designs that are not playable. He's pretty high on my list, actually. Let's see, what else is there? So we got Agravain, we got Roland, we got Maxwell's Demon. What else is there? I'm sure there's some other ones. There's, what's the name? Zhufu. That's another one. Yeah, I guess Zeet, I guess that's one. Yeah, the big samurai guy. Sir K has a design, but it's not a sprite in FGO yet, right? So that's not quite the same. You know, obviously he does, it's like Moses. Moses has an official design, but it's never had a sprite in FGO, right? Where all those other ones do. I'm not sure Mars counts because if they let you summon Mars, it would be like Artemis, where you get the avatar form, right? Like 100%, and we never saw his avatar form. He's got one, but we didn't see it. Like with Zeus and Demeter and Aphrodite, we saw them. So that would be the version of them, and that would be playable. Yeah, we've seen Moses in Fate. Not in FGO, but Moses has an official design for Fate. Kind of feel like they're never going to use it in FGO, though. I think they're afraid of controversy on that one. Hard to say. Yeah, you don't really summon exactly the normal Antonio. It's more like... So there was like a rumor. So the exact cause of Mozart's death is just not known because he died too long ago. But there's some pretty clear theories that, you know, hold water, right? But there was like a rumor that Antonio had killed him, right, out of like jealousy, right? But there's no evidence for it. There's really no evidence for any of the theories for Mozart's death, but there's no reason to assume that. But it is a theory, and I believe it started in Russia, apparently, or something. I'm not quite sure, but that's, I think, why they decided to use it in the Lostbelt 1, because it was set in Russia and all that. But basically, he's a servant that's based on, you know, that version of Antonio, right? But he's kind of like mixed up, right? Because he still has some of his like actual feelings of the true Antonio actually liking Mozart and all that. He's pretty messed up, I'm not gonna lie. He doesn't seem like the happiest existence for a servant, honestly. Okay, we don't actually have our NP yet. That's unfortunate. I'm gonna taunt Ushi, so she gets it no matter what. We're probably never gonna get regular Antonio, and the thing is, at least they characterize him pretty well because we still kind of have a connection with his regular self, and you have the stage 2, and so on and so forth, so it's not that bad. But it is kind of weird, like what they did with all that. Fuck! Ah, fuck. I gotta at least wait one turn. I guess she didn't cast it this whole time, and then she gets that extra defense up for one turn. Man, look, I got all these cards, though. God damn. But because Antonio is not really that famous, he's a pretty weak servant stat-wise and everything, and the reason why he's actually a decent servant is because of his Mystic Code. His Mystic Code pretty much carries the hell out of him. Guess I overcharge Mordred. Yeah, I think they buffed her NP off memory. If you're talking about nursery rhyme. Still has the RNG though on its NP drain, which is really annoying. Do I heal Mordred? Probably not. We heal Ushi and evade Ushi. That morph is being a bitch right now. Really lowered our damage. And we're not even in P2, so... Do you have a guide on what to do with a new account? The best advice I can, if you want to look at my content for how to extrapolate information for a new account, is like my tier list video, the 1 to 3 star video. Goes over a lot of like the basics. First off, my 1 to 3 star tier list video is way shorter than the 4-star tier list video, so you can actually watch it in a reasonable amount of time, right? But I go over like all the free-to-play units and what's like worth leveling and whatnot, so you should be able to get good information from that. Level David, yeah, there's that. And then if you want to go really ham, I've got a playlist. I've got my second YouTube channel, and I've got a playlist of where I made a brand new account, and I just played through the game. And as I streamed it, I would just talk about I'm leveling this because I need this, but because I have Hercules, I'm not leveling Lubu, right? So on and so forth, that kind of logic. The best advice though I can give outside, like really, because a lot of stuff is specific to what you're getting and what you're doing, that kind of stuff. But your goal should be to have, like obviously you're going to want to level up your favorite characters, right? But beneath that, you're going to want to have a backbone that can just get shit done, right? You want to aim for, and sometimes your favorite characters are going to fill in holes in your lineup anyway, right? So maybe your favorite character is Okita or something. Okita is a very good single target saber, so you're not, that's good, right? It's no problem. But you basically want to make sure you've got at least one single target DPS for every class. If you don't have a gold one, level the best silver one available, right? So if you need an assassin single target DPS, you level 100 face. If you need a Lancer one, you level Ku. If you need a Rider one, you level Ushi, right? So just make sure you've got a solid single target DPS for all classes, and you want to start working towards having AoE ones as well for farming. But for farming, you can kind of just level Arash and Spartacus, and then you're kind of good, right? For farming for a long time. If you just level Arash and Spartacus, that'll help you a lot with the farming, and you won't have to worry so much about leveling every AoE thing ever. And then just level supports. Make sure you've got good supports so you can take care of your own units. And so if you summon your friend's Waver or your friend's Merlin, you've got your own support to work with them, because sometimes the one OP support's not enough. So Hans, Qingong, David, Mash, right? Getting those up is really good. One of these days I should make a video where I just kind of talk about what I level in what order and why, but it changes because sometimes you do things for fun, sometimes you happen to get a gold, so you don't need to level the other thing, you know, blah 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 blah. Yeah, I need to kill her before she NPs again, or we are gonna have a very bad time here. Yeah, caster is, you don't really have a free-to-play accessible single-target caster. So what you do is you level up Berserker in its place, and then you have like the best AoE caster that you can use, like Babbage or Caster Ku. Shooting caster doesn't count. Of course it doesn't. Why? People say this every fucking time. Yeah, because if you make a new account, you get shooting caster, right? Because, you know, that event is going on 24/7. So if you made an account tomorrow, you just get shooting caster. That's great, because, you know, FGO does main interludes, right? They totally use the main interlude system, so anybody can get her, right? But, you know, the majority of people that make an account, you know, from that event on, are not going to have it, obviously, and that's a lot of fucking people. And you don't, there's no go-to option that you can guarantee somebody has. There's none. So you level up the best AoE alternative, which is generally Babbage or Caster Ku. And then you try to have good berserkers like Darius or Lubu or Jerker, or if you get Herc, you use Herc, right? Or if you get, you know, whatever, you know, if you get Kualter by some miracle, you use that. You fill in with whatever you get. Or if you actually do get lucky and you get one of the very few single target casters that's worth the shit, which there's not a lot of them because, you know, this game. Yeah, try to get your bases covered before you level anything really stupid, right? That's kind of what I try to advise people. And, you know, there's wiggle room to, you know, of course, you know, start leveling your absolute favorite character, you know, at the very beginning. That's fine, but you know, try to have a reasonable spread of units that can cover your ass, and then you can kind of do whatever you want. Because it doesn't take very long, right? It really does not take very long to at least get some basic stuff of each class up. Alright, please give me my NP. We need to kill this sentient book here or we're in trouble. 98%. Just hit Ushi, forehead. Damn it! Now Hans's buff is gonna wear off, I think. Well, we don't need it though, I don't. Well, actually, we might. Just crit George. George, what are we doing here? Yeah, my crit buff is gone. You can grail all the phantoms you want. Well, she's not dead. Thankfully, we got it right before the NP. That was a bit closer than I would have liked. This is bullying nonsense. I doubt she has her third skill in that fight. They're like your story supports, they're messed up. Also, because she only has 2 actions per turn, it'd just be so unlikely that it worked out. You know, it'd have to be a turn where 1 tick was enough, and it'd have to be the first action, not the second action. So the odds of that happening are like super low. And yeah, I don't think she even has it though, so it's kind of irrelevant. Let's do that. Van Gogh should be fine against Fluffy because she's immune to the curse, right? That'll make it way easier. Now, she's not like the best DPS ever. You're not gonna blow Fluffy up as fast as some other units might. So it kind of depends on your team, right? If you've got the kind of supports to be able to support that kind of slower playstyle, although you can get good damage out of her, but she's not ideal just with the way the gimmicks work. But she's so safe that as long as your supports are decent, it'll work really well. Like if you're trying to like damage race, she's probably not the way to go, but she's good enough that I think she'd help a lot of people if they had her. I think MHX though is the best just because she does so much damage. You can kill Fluffy rather quickly, and MHX is still tanky. She's not as tanky as some of the other options, but it's more than tanky enough. And then you can actually go really fast. Do I want to art chain so I don't have to worry about NP gain later, I guess. Yang is good too, for sure. Like foreigner, like any of the single target foreigners are going to be good there. And if you have multiple, because most people aren't going to have a lot of foreigners. I don't think we've seen a single account that had Yang and MHX. But if you have them both, I think which one's going to be better is going to come down to which one's more upgraded, which one's what level, right? Like if you have MHXX at like, level 100 NP3, and then Yang is level 90 NP1, it's obviously going to be MHX. But if it's the opposite, then it's going to be Yang, right? So it kind of just depends. And if they're like perfectly tied, like where Yang is 90 and MHX is 90 and then the same NP rank and blah 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 blah, then it probably comes down to the team, really. Because sometimes your team is going to have enough damage one way or the other, so like having more damage is important. Then you're going to want more survival or more NP gain or more utility, right? But if you've already got that unlocked, but you don't have the damage, then you want more damage, right? So it just depends. I would say for a scuffed account, I think MHX is better. MHXX, excuse me, is better. But it's certainly possible for Yang to be better for certain accounts. And they're both really good, so I don't think it even matters that much, to be honest. I will say that is a downside to Yang, is the fact that she wants to debuff him. That's not good in that fight. But if you got strong supports and it's not going to make a difference, then, no big deal. Sounds like it's storming over there, huh? Yeah, that's what it was like over here a minute ago. It's looking way better now, though. It was crazy earlier. We'll probably do an account review after this one. I want to do something... Oh, God. Shen Gong, please. Voyager or Enkidu? That's not even close. I mean, that's Enkidu by a mile, because Enkidu has a niche there, and he has really high survivability, where, sure, Voyager is counterclassing, but he's AoE, and he's actually got rather low damage for AoE. So, sadly, Voyager's not really that good there. If you're going to beat it with Voyager, it's going to be because you have really good supports that are just going to carry you, right? Yeah, maybe Fluffy will just, like, you know, not want to hurt him, right? Because the young lad, but I don't know about that. But Enkidu is very good there because the good thing about Enkidu is he will free you up to almost bring entirely supports for whatever you want, like whatever you want, because you don't have to bring much damage for Enkidu, right? Like Enkidu's got the damage on his own, so you can bring whatever supports you need for either the debuffs, the survivability, or the battery if you want to go fast, or like whatever you want to do. It's pretty easy to work with Enkidu that way. The downside to Enkidu is just the fact, like almost every other DPS, he's taking a lot of damage. Thankfully, though, Enkidu, out of the people that are gonna take the proper berserker damage, Enkidu is one of the better ones because he has a very high HP pool. We're like a 3-star, if they're not grailed and they don't have a survivability skill, like an evade or whatever, there's almost no way for them to survive a turn from Fluffy. Where Enkidu has so much health, he absolutely can, and he's got the big heal, and he's got the evade. So out of the more, you know, typical classes, if you will, Enkidu is one of the better picks. All right, let's check our accounts here. All right, let's go with CrystalClarent. I think that's Mordred's NP there. For the love of God, please don't be a flex account. I need some advice to prepare for Lostbelt 5 and onward. I'm guessing you're on NA then. What servant I lack and what skill I should level first, because I'm really deep into Mat Hell. Oops, that's never good. I love to throw all I got in a fight, but I would prefer to not use OP support. So basically, use whatever you have except for... I'm assuming you mean like Merlin, Waver, Scatty. That's what most people mean by OP support. Although some people don't count Waver, especially these days, because although Waver is very strong, everybody can have them and blah, blah, blah. I don't know, though. I feel like Waver is still such a powerful unit. It's so much NP so easily. And what really gets overlooked is Waver's second skill. It's amazing. I remember people made fun of me for leveling Waver's second skill first, but I stand by that 1,000,000,000%. And I didn't do it randomly because I didn't know what I was doing. It was a conscious decision. I did it because I'm like, yeah, I have no problem farming. I can 3-turn like it's nothing. But challenge quests can be really nasty. And Waver's second skill is way better for challenge quests for a typical player because it gives you that massive defense up, the damage cut, and then the uptime is better, right? Because the cooldown is shorter. So I got Waver's second skill to 10 first, and I actually totally stand by that decision unless you're really lacking damage for farming or something. Anyway, for CEs, let's just say that I have all of the basic 5-star CEs, non-MLB, and no Golden Sumo. So I'm guessing you've got like most of the event CEs after Golden Sumo then. So you have, you know, typical 50% starting MPs. Alright, all gold units are MP1 unless stated otherwise. Dion is MP2. Better for MP5, that's good. Rama, wow, Rama MP5. Why is Rama MP5 but he's not leveled? Did you just get spooked all the time? I'm so confused. How do you have Rama NP5 but but he's not leveled? I'm so confused, because normally if you got him MP5, it's because you aimed for it. I don't know, maybe he was rated up, like, because, you know, in a long time ago, right, it might have been a raid up that you wanted something else that he was in, and you just got him on the side, but you didn't actually care for him that much. So because your account name is CrystalClarent, I assume you like Mordred, because she's grailed, and then 10, 10, 10, and so the fact that she's NP1 is just because you didn't, you didn't save up enough, right? You, not enough willpower there, or bad luck, either way. But, alright, so what do we got here? So Mordred's got your AoE pretty much like unlock, right? You don't really need anything else. Even at NP1, when she's Grail, she'll do well. You're gonna really want to get her NP2 someday, but she'll do really well for you at NP1. So you got Bedivere for single target, that's really good. You got Dion for just a typical taunt wall, yada yada. So Landling is NP1. He's not as good at NP1. He's one of the few supports that scales a lot with NP ranks. He's still good though. He's still a nice generic art support, honestly, with some nice utility. So he's still good. We'll see how many art units you have. You don't have any art DPS. Well, you have Hokusai, but you haven't leveled her, so I'm assuming you're not going for that. So you don't have much to work with the art stuff for Saber right now, but we'll look at the other classes. As for Sabers, right now, I don't think you need to work on skill ranks at all, really. I'd say Mordred is so good, and then Bedivere is not very skill rank dependent. So you said you're in Mat Hell. As of looking at this, I'd be like, yeah, no, don't level up. Don't level up your Saber skills right now. I'd worry about other things. Okay, let's skip ahead to Caster, because that's always important. Okay, you do have Caster Gale, so that works with your Landling, so that's some good support. And you said you wanted to avoid the OP supports, so those aren't OP in my opinion. You can do Landling, Caster Gale, there's some really nice art stuff. So hopefully you have smart DPS. Gilgamesh in B2, that's another reason to use them. Antoinette in B2. Caster Cthulhu in B5. I assume you mean Gilius, but you could mean Ku, right? But I assume you mean Gilius. Let's see, Zig NP3. Oof, that's unfortunate because you got all that art stuff, right? So Zig would be really good on this account. I would prefer not to level my Merlin at all. Fair enough. Okay, let's see. Oh, and you have a Grailed Hohenheim. Who the hell does that? I don't ever see that. That's unique. Even more reason, though, to do art stuff. You have a lot of incentive on this account to do art stuff. Probably worth leveling your Mozart skills, then. If you're trying to avoid the OP supports, you already have so much art stuff. What do you got for DPS, though? I guess Caster Gale, Helena. That's okay. It's solid. And then Medea. But you got Medea for DPS. Oh, I cracked myself up, Cherry. She'll get him, right? She'll run in there with her little butter knife, right? She'll hit him for like, 25k. We tickle him a little bit. Yeah, that'll do the job. Let's see. Do you need to level another DPS caster? Let me look at your Berserkers, because that'll kind of affect what I think there. MHXA is not bad, honestly. She does a pretty good job of killing assassins, I would say. And you've got Jerker. So between Jerker and all that, as long as you've got like George and David and stuff, and you got Atalante, yeah, I don't think you need to level another DPS caster right now. I wouldn't worry about it. If I was going to level anything, I would just level utility stuff with casters. You have decent support though, so again, we'll have to see what else you've got. Okay. You're so close. You've like tasted the forbidden fruit, but yet you didn't commit here, right? You've got the 9 skill rank on David's second skill, but it's not yellow, which means you have no lores. That means this account has 0 lores. So if you're not, I am not being a budget Billy, right? I'm not. This is actual advice. If you're saying you don't want to use your Merlin, and that means you don't want to summon your friend's Merlin, you really need to level David, right? You're gonna need that extra option for dealing with AoE NPs. So if you're trying to avoid Merlin, you even more so, because someone else could have their own David at like their skill at 6, and they summon their friend's Merlin, and then they can deal with most AoE nonsense, right? But if you're not wanting to do that, you're gonna want that David skill at 10. So that would be a pretty good use of your next lore, in my opinion. But we'll see here. Hopefully this account has gotten more lores since sending the screenshot in, because it was sent a little while ago. Well, they don't necessarily hate Merlin. It just says they don't want to use them, and I'm guessing it's because, and rightfully so. And I would agree with this sentiment. It makes the game too easy. I really do think it does. Like Ari was saying, I remember a few streams ago, he's just so good and so universal and so safe, it's boring, right? It doesn't push you to play better, it doesn't push you to figure things out. It's a huge crutch, right? It's a massive fucking crutch. And some people just don't enjoy that. Now, some people like being disgusting and min-maxing the damage and seeing the numbers and just laughing at the enemy bosses, and that's fair enough. If you enjoy that, by all means, play that way. There's no objective way to have fun, right? But if you're wanting things to be a bit more interesting, and what I see, most people that agree with me, and this is a big part of why I feel this way, I think it's because people want their other units to shine. you want the other units to matter. And it's really hard to do that when you're using OP supports, because then the supports are just carrying so much. The DPS a lot of times is interchangeable, and at best you're just trying to damage race, you know, it's like min-max, and that's not fun. You want to actually, you know, make things work. I use Merlin as DPS. Yeah, I know a few people that do that. But yeah, I mean, I really get it for people that don't like using Merlin. Because I like Merlin as a character. I like Merlin as a character just fine. But he's just so not fun to use that I avoid it. Unless I'm just damage stacking for the lulz, right? But that's something else. Okay, so Emiya's NP5 and Grailed. So he's really good. And I assume you don't mind using OP supports for farming. So down the road, when Caster Artoria is around, she's the easiest support to summon ever. Everyone is going to slaughter. And then Emiya gets the art NP. That'll be great for farming, so that'll be really good for you. And you can use Chiron with that. That's actually good for those nodes. That, like, even NA's got, or JP's got them right now with some of the hunting quests where you've got like some stages there's only one enemy instead of 3. So Chiron is good for those, and you can kind of, it's flexible to either buff himself or buff his teammate, right? So the Chiron Emiya combo is good, and they're both art. Well, Emiya's not art yet, but he will be, right? And you've got Hohenheim, Landling, Castergill. So there's some options there. Do you have Qin Gong? Because right now he's Buster, and even when he gets the art in P, sometimes you're going to want to use him on a Buster team because you're going to want what the Buster supports provide. You don't even have Qin Gong. Have you not been rolling FP since he was added, or do you just not like him? I wonder. But yeah, you're gonna want Qin Gong because you do have, I mean, you got Mordred, right? If you're wanting to do Mordred things and you don't want to use Merlin, then Qin Gong is your guy, right? He's Qin Gong, David, and David's Buster, right? There's so many reasons. Qin Gong is a universally good unit anyway, and then the fact that you're wanting to avoid OP supports, he's a must. Hans is a must, David is a must, Qin Gong is a must. Like, absolutely. So let's see here, what else you got for archers? You got a backup Billy and Robin. Attila's okay, and she's pretty useful too. But yeah, you got good archers. You got a Raj, and he's got the skill rank at the point where he can farm easily. I see what you're doing there. But yeah, just get David's second skill up. You're definitely going to need that on this account. All right, Scath is NP2. That's very good. And if you get like Scath or Enkidu, either one of them at NP2, that's just so powerful, so fucking good. And you got her second skill at max, which is actually good for the, from what I see with how you like to play. That actually makes sense, because that maximizes her survivability, and like looping with her stun, like you rotate the stun and the evade. So I'm guessing that's what you're going for, and that's fine. So you got Kua's backup, and he's Grail, that's also good. Let's see, so you've got Lancer Artoria Alter for AoE. She has no battery though, so that's where you're going to want like Qin Gong and things like that, Shakespeare, so on and so forth. So it's going to be kind of limited for farming. You don't have Leonidas leveled yet. I would do that. Like, taunt walls are good, especially when you're trying to be more avoiding the OP support. So I'd say like typical taunt walls become better and better. The only way I'd say maybe don't do that is if you have oh, there's no CE picture. If you have Poster Girl, I would say the need to level Leonidas goes down. He's still good, but the need to level him goes down quite a bit if you have Poster Girl. Same for George, unfortunately. And same for Dihan, right? Those kind of units are a lot less good when you have Poster Girl. But if you don't, they're very, very good. And I'd say pretty important. You could, for farming, you could definitely level Fionn or Nukehead. Either one of them, you know, Nazosh, or however you say her name. They're both really good for farming. Let's see. I would say Fionn is better, but for more brain dead farming, just like lull, hit battery buttons, the Nukehead is better. Fionn is just more skill rank dependent. That's the main issue, but he is better, I would say. But not that big of a priority, especially if you've got Spartacus and things like that leveled. You've got options for farming, so it's not that big of a deal. But you've got very good. Oh, you've got. Oh, excuse me, I didn't see it. You've got Valkyrie. That's pretty good for farming, so that helps a lot. So you don't really need to worry about an AoE Lancer too much. It's not going to be your best class. You might not always 3-turn, but who cares? Okay, so you've got Martha. That's really good, because I don't think you had Asclepius, so I'll check again. But that gives you some anti-debuff, and she's NP2. That's really good. So you said you wanted advice for Lostbelt 5. So for 5-1, so far you're looking fine, right? Because you fight Poseidon, and that fight really incentivizes Sabers and Lancers. And your Sabers and Lancers are very good. I mean, honestly, Scath, you wouldn't even... Because Poseidon has got Divinity, and because of that, you could probably do the Poseidon fight and not even bring a Saber. Just do Scath Coup and stuff. And then when you kill Chiron, you have Scath do anti-divinity damage to Poseidon. Maybe get her third skill to 10 because the cooldown will be shorter. Because Chiron also has divinity in that fight. That's like the point of the Lostbelt version of Chiron. It's like Chiron with his divinity. So she can wreck both of them. She can take out a Chiron health bar with like normal cards, not using her NP at all because of that bonus. So yeah, you're looking really good for the Poseidon fight. But 5-2 is the one that most people worry about. So let's see, what do you have for Demeter? Because that's a big landmark boss. So Martha is very, very good there. Because of that, you don't really need Alexander. Although, funnily enough, you have Alexander, so you have even better options. Ushi's good. Ryoma's not really that good. Also, he's NP2, so it's really not going to be good in that fight. So you've got the support, but you don't really. You could use another damage. You'd have to bring stuff to try to keep Ushi alive for the entire fight with the setup you have, and that'd be a bit tricky. So you might want to level like Medusa or wait for Ricky Boy and just level Ricky Boy when it gets added. If you leveled Ryoma though, you could probably make your Ushi and Ryoma work even at NP2 because your Ushi's grailed, and Martha is just so good in that fight. I mean, Martha is just a massive carry in that fight. So you're probably okay. I'd be a little nervous about the DPS, but I think you're okay. So did you have Asclepius? You did not. So that makes Martha a pretty high priority to get her anti-debuff to rank 10, so the cooldown is shorter, because you definitely have debuff problems. Not necessarily, though, the thing I would do next, because I don't think you'll need it for Demeter or anything. So, no rush, but it's something to think about in the future. Okay, so you've got Shiki, and she's grailed. Thank God she's in P5. So again, more things to work with all of your art stuff. So honestly, down the road, I would level your Landling, because you just have so much art stuff that Landling with Castergill would be really good. So it's a pretty good option there. So for Zeus, you got Fuma. That's always good, although you might not need it. Depends on what other stuff you end up leveling and if you have an Avenger or not. So for AoE, you've got Semiramis. Oh, you got Jack. Man, between Jack and Shiki, you're never going to need another single target assassin, I don't think. If for some reason you needed one, you could always level 100 face, like I always say, but I don't think you need to worry about that at all. If anything, you'd want to worry about AoE, but between Fuma and Semiramis, it's pretty good. You could always level Shootin' because she has a degree of like support debuffy nonsense, and then she's AoE, but I wouldn't really worry about your assassin slot, it looks fine. Alright, so Berserker is pretty important for this account. So what do you got for AoE? You've got Kiyohime, but boy is that not particularly useful. You've got Horsebindo. Might be good to level him, to be honest. This account would be pretty good for Horsebindo. It gives you a lot of AoE options there. So you haven't leveled your Spartacus yet. For farming, I would do it. I don't think you'll need it outside of that, so it depends on how much you value farming. But for farming, I probably would level Spartacus on this account. I think it'll help you. But MHXA and Jerker will just absolutely like fill in the gaps for a lot of those other classes that you need. The only issue is AoE, because Kiyohime is not very good, and but Horsebindo is, even at NP1, so he's probably worth leveling up, I would say. And maybe level up Asterios for just the utility, but if you're already at NP Lostbelt 4, not a big deal. Okay. So you do not have a good Avenger for Zeus. So there are plenty of other options though. I mean, like Scath. You can use Scath as cleanup for Zeus, no problem. You can use Ku. Those are actually better than Antonio. So you've got options for Zeus, but you don't have like an easy mode, just I beat Zeus button. I tell you what though, that Martha's NP2, that Ruler Martha would be good for Zeus. Because when you break his first health bar, he will always debuff the entire team. Martha can do her debuff immunity and have it miss, and that's super good, and her anti-divinity works there in that fight. Like, Martha is legit really good for Zeus, and because you don't have an Avenger, would not be a bad investment. And she's already 9/9/10, so you don't have to do much. So yeah, keep Martha in mind for Zeus. I think that'd actually be, maybe not your main DPS, but could definitely be a good, an option. Melt would be pretty good for this account, leveling her to like 10/10/10 at some point, just to fill in the gaps, but overall, between your Berserkers and everything, I wouldn't like rush it or anything. She's probably fine as is, and she's in P1. I might level, Passionate though, just for the utility. If you're not gonna, when you're not using the OP supports, units like Passionate are amazing. So much protection and survivability for the team. Like, I would actually put that as a pretty high priority, unless you dislike her. If you dislike her, you can probably make do with, you know, Landling and things like that. But I think Passion Love could be a pretty handy tank for this account, and Alter Egos aren't bad to have in the pocket anyway, so I would definitely consider that. When you're not using the OP supports, it's good. As for Aphrodite, this account might have a bit of a hard time with Aphrodite, but you could always summon a friends like in Kidu and just solo it. Although you have Scath. Scath is really good for Aphrodite, so you're probably okay. It's just your anti-debuff is pretty weak. You could still use Martha, even though she'll die really fast, but you could use her to remove key debuffs at the right time. If you are worried about Aphrodite, you could level Caster Coup, because he has anti-debuff and he's a caster. That'd be really good there. Yeah, I don't know, if the caster rate up hasn't happened yet on an A, maybe roll a bit on the caster class rate up to try to get Asclepius. Because your account is very weak to debuffs. Thank goodness you have Martha, though. If you didn't have Martha, I would say you must roll an Asclepius, but thankfully you have Martha, so that's a decent stand-in. I was kind of hoping you'd have Joan of Arc, because she's really good anti-debuff as well, but no such luck. But yeah, looking good. As for skill rank priority, if it was me, my next lore would go to David. If it was me, just that next lore would go to David. I'd probably get Scath, third skill to 10, because of Lostbelt 5 coming up, and there's just Divinity everywhere, and there's some fights that reward Lancers anyway, so those would be really... That, and then like Martha, just because this account needs Martha. But yeah, that's probably what I would focus on. Other than that, looks good, and you should be fine, I feel. What about Lostbelt 6? That's not for a while, but what does this count have for Fluffy? Scath. Yep, Scath is your best DPS for Fluffy. But so, you have 2 years, but in 2 years, make sure that Scath is 10-10-10. Like, absolutely make sure that Scath is 10-10-10 in 2 years. And then also make sure you get Asclepius. I just realized this account is so weak against Fluffy if you don't get Asclepius. If you get Asclepius, you'll be fine. So I don't know, Chad, is the caster rate up already come and gone? But yeah, if you want to deal with Fluffy and not use OP supports, you're definitely going to need Asclepius. Like, holy shit, you're going to need that. It's in like 2 or 4 days. It should be tonight. Well, that's some conflicting information there, as usual. Yeah, at least try to get 1 copy of Asclepius, because if you're trying to not use that Merlin, if you level up your Merlin and use that for a Fluffy, you'll be fine. But if you're like, I don't want to use Merlin, then you're going to need Asclepius. Merlin is probably the best support to use with the story support Castor Artoria that they give you. Like, Merlin and Castor Artoria there are so good in that fight. Makes it so much easier. Tonight and 9-3. Well, if you happen to hear this today or I guess tomorrow, it'll still be up tomorrow, I would recommend trying to get 1 copy of Asclepius. The caster rate up is a pretty reliable way to get them. And this account is very, very weak to debuffs. And like you said it right here, you're trying to not use the OP supports, so that, you know, even if you use OP supports, Asclepius is good. If you don't use OP supports, I think he's a necessity. It just straight up, he's a necessity. As the game gets harder, anyway. Alright, well, that was CrystalClarent. We'll get back to the game here, as I have no good answer for assassins. Yep, you can get Caster Coup as well, which is nice. I need to put out like a tweet, and I need to put out a YouTube story post or whatever they call them to just tell everyone on NA to roll for Asclepius while he's rated up. Because I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it, man. They get to Fluffy and they're like, I don't have Asclepius. You can use Medea Lily for Fluffy. She's not the best pick ever, but she actually does work there. Every once in a while, I remember that I have a Twitter account. Desk slam, go roll for Asclepius indeed. Why is Darius dead? Also, why didn't I cast my defense up and damage cut? Because then he probably wouldn't be dead. Fuck! Oh, that's not ideal at all. Need his gut skill, man. That's kind of my fault, though. I think if I had cast the defense up damage cut, he probably would have. Oh, thank God it's a bitch stage. Oh my God. If this had been like a boss fight with an assassin, I'd have been in a really bad way. Hans is like so low on bond there. Gotta work on that. Can't wait to get his third skill and get the upgrade for it. Very convenient. Okay, this is probably an actual boss fight. We really don't have good options for this. Oh God. I need like Darius NP2. I need like any 3 stars NP2. Our damage is so bad. Fuck. Oh, this is not good. I wonder if this is Jack. Alright, I'm breaking out the cope scope. Actually, Stheno is legitimately a good option here because of the divinity thing. Just where do you put it? Alright. Man, I remember I rolled until I got MP5 Asclepius. And I was hoping to get Hot Wheels or got Juno while I was at it, and I didn't get either of them. I think I used like 500 SQ too. I've always been salty about that. And Hot Wheels is so cool, man. Like, he's a super cool character. You know what I should have done is I should have waited until the turn that I was about to kill them, or the turn before, cast PFA then, cast Taunt so I can't get pinged off, and then kill the final one so I can't get pinged off again, and that way I get full duration and 2 turns off the cooldown. Well, now we need to go fast. So fast I'm actually casting this. Huh. Come on, give me overkill. I think the last hit did get overkill just because of the way this game calculates it. It's broken. You do half of their current HP, for some reason it counts as an overkill hit. There's definitely a bug, and I'm sure they could fix it by now, but they're not going to fix it because everyone's used to it. Like, if they fixed it, most people don't even know it exists, but they're used to having that kind of NP gain. So if they fixed it, everyone would be like, why is their NP gain worse? It wouldn't kill looping, it would definitely hurt it though, because a lot of looping setups can get the overkill bonus anyway, or don't need it. right? Like if you use the Babylonia Mystic Code with like an Edmund setup with double scatty, you don't need the overkill, because on the one turn you're short, you do the battery, then the next one you have an extra NP gain buff, so it doesn't matter, right? There's plenty of ways to do loopy stuff with or without it, but it would make it harder. Less things would loop than they do now, and like the more health enemies have, the harder it would be to loop. But like you'd still have refund nonsense. It would just be less accessible. This is not a boss fight. I was excited. I was like, you know, I made a setup here, and I was excited and a little worried, but it's a lie. Not a real fight. That Shiki theme in here. Oh, is the music looping? I'll fix it here. I'll let this song finish though, because it's good. If I had known this stage was going to be like this, I would have gone for Chen Gong's NP for sure. Let's go, Brave Chain. They just happen to have the same name. They also happen to both have the eyes, but they're not related at all. They just have the same mystic eyes. He's actually a really old character. He just hasn't been in anything for a long time. Yeah, I definitely like K and K Shiki more. It's not even close. Yeah, they both have Mystic Eyes of Death, Perception. I think Shiki's are stronger though, if I remember correctly. And they both just happen to have the name Shiki, but the personalities are different, and like where they live is different, and what stories they're in are different, and so on and so forth, and they're just different characters. Oh man, this would be so easy with like all these different classes. Like you summon this, right, and it's so much better. Once the story supports are higher, then I at least would summon like this, right? But we'll stick with the story supports for now. The FP is nice anyway. Obviously Shiki, like obviously that one, clearly. So I actually know K and K's Shiki's full name. I forgot the full name of Tsukihimi's Shiki, because I don't give a fuck about that character. Might as well be Chair, to be honest. Look at that double-digit damage. Very effective. Doing the Brave Chain for the NP gain. Dude, London is so boring, and then America's even more boring, but then we're through the storm, right? Once we get through London and America, it'll be actually hard then. And then I'm gonna have to actually level things. Like right now I haven't committed to leveling anything, but I'll make a lot of my decisions for Camelot. I'm not even I'm gonna have like a series of these videos on YouTube, but I'm not even counting these streams because it's just who gives a shit. I'll kind of start. I got the first few in Fuyuki just to kind of show what the account's about, and like, because in those streams I kind of established the ground rules. Oh hi Jack, but fuck, if I had known it was Jack, I would not have put 2 riders in the back. That's actually really bad. We might lose because of that. Fuck. Anyway, but then I'll have like the playlist start in Camelot, I think, or actually at the end of America. We'll do like the coup altar fights and the demon pillar and that kind of stuff. Let's see. I don't know what our DPS will be for Fluffy. We shall see. That's way down the road though, so no rush. Only Qingong had his 3rd skill, or if this boss was a dragon, that would be helpful as well. 9 stars, let's go. It's only ranked 5, what a joke. If I had known, I might have been able to bring George in a way where we could have made her a dragon. We've got Coke Scope, but he's in the back, and he's just there to collect a bond. I didn't think this was a boss battle. I should not have killed those ads when I think about it. Single target would be a lot better here. Because now Jack gets 3 actions per turn, which is not ideal. And she instantly crits, and she instantly crit. No, yeah, it's triple crit. I think those are triple buster too, I think. What the fuck was that? I think we're dead. I think we is fucked here. We would be totally fine if our back row wasn't almost entirely riders. A bunch of fucking riders versus an assassin. It's like, yeah, that'll go well. Wouldn't shock me if she does attack women, but that's not the weird part. The weird part was the triple crit. Can you stop, kiddo? Well, she targeted something else there. Do I heal Ushi? I don't think so. That does not seem worthwhile. If only Ushi was in the front and she survived, and I could use her for ammo. I do suspect that she has higher chance to attack females, but it could just be luck. Pretty small sample size there. She is critting so fucking much though. Alright, here's the question. Is Siegfried worth saving considering he's level 50 and like our only thing left on the team worth a damn? Either that or Qingong DPS. I guess it's Qingong DPS time. I want to do that art chain, but the NP is probably still worth doing. CS turned into a dragon. Not the best damage there. I don't know, the art chain might have been better. Well, that means, what's his name? Siegfried gets to live. I was trying to keep George alive to use him for ammo, but I don't think that's going to happen at this point, so I probably should have just, taunted with him last turn, but this isn't how I thought it was gonna go down. Let me think. Why is our NP gain so slow right now? Jesus Christ. Qingong getting wrecked. Well. See the Brave Chain just for the damage. What a scuffed team. I think it's gonna work anyway, but what a mess. So what I should have done was I should have not NP'd with Siegfried, and I should have done the art chain, and I should have taunted with George, and then let George die, then NP with Siegfried. So the deck just shuffled, and Qingong got no NP gain again. Which is kind of ridiculous, because he has 3 art cards! Shut up, music. It's not that bad. I'm taunting Qingong so he gets NP gain that way. Why am I trying to get Siegfried's NP right now? Like, why in God's name am I doing that? A lot of bad decisions. I would have won right there. I think if I did Buster, Art Buster. I'm close. Well... Alright, Siegfried, if you can do 1,400 damage with your stuff here, you get to survive. Easy. Fuck! It's not over! Oh my god! Oh shit! We are so dead. Oh my god. Remember those riders? Remember those riders? If I put them in like behind Stheno, namesake of the account by the way. Okay, we are we're dead. We are so dead. We just lost a boss fight, chat. Mordred is really bad for this. Mordred is so bad for this stage. Okay. Okay, the music knew. The music knew! I was all like, it's not that bad. The music knew. It's just taunting me now. They knew we were fucked. Centipede's back there just waving at us. It's like, I remember. Alright, we need to... How are we gonna do damage here? This is fucked. This is where I need, like, to have leveled a quote-unquote DPS caster. Hold on a second. My god. These are the first foe items we've used on this account. It's DPS Hans time. That's what's happening. Anybody got the hands up about? Shit's amazing. I can just add it in FFZ. I should do that. What are we doing with our lives right now? It's a good investment anyway. I never regret leveling Hans. Yeah, we need to use him for Baldy anyway. I don't remember though, is Hans one of those bastards that has to unlock his 3rd skill? Because, you know, this game... He is not! Obviously we have to do the upgrade though, but that's something. Oh my god though, it's so bad until you upgrade it, because it does the defense down. Hard to say, Icy. I would hope so, because she's not even the main boss of the stage, so... If I had to bet, I'd probably bet that she can. Darius could get his NP, that would be excellent. Not sure it's worth it. I almost want to do that. Oh, she has her taunt now. She's gonna be pretty high priority then for leveling up skills. Just makes sense. My god, we're doing DPS Hans right now. What if I did like that? Would I keep him alive? He's only in P1. If he was in P2, I'd say let's fucking go, but it's pretty iffy at NP1. But this is just cancer right there. Like, that's really slow. What are our options? Proto-Q. I'll need to save Qingong's taunt then, I feel. What if we give this to Hans? So his attacks do 400 more damage. Because that's probably better than like the DPS we're gonna see out of a lot of other stuff. Oh my god. Oh god. Oh god, this is not how FGO is supposed to be played. I'm gonna get water. Give me 1 second. Also, get some goddamn pants or shorts or something, Jack. Jesus. Alright. Water obtained. Seder Nero being totally serious right there. Okay. Proto-Q's NP is decently important, as is Hans's though. How much damage can Hans do here? He's got it. Nope, I'm a liar. If he had full items, he probably would have had it there. I just fucked up. I should have cast PFA there, and I should have cast Hans's third skill. Big boo-boo. Damn. Alright, Hans, land the attack buff on yourself. Because you're a strong lad. That's gonna punch Jack into the moon here. We'll probably end up bowing a archer for fucking Hans! Bro, okay, sure. Nope, that's what a great NP there. Good job. Didn't land any of the buffs. Except we landed, the only buff we landed was the defense buff on Shin-Gong. That was it. Christ. I don't even remember what I was saying. Oh yeah, I probably foe an archer because of Gawain. This is not going well. Hans though with the double brave chain, getting that that flat damage in from covering fire. I'm actually taking this stage seriously because with the restrictions we have in place, I have to. Like I actually have to here. Come on, Protoku, get the crit. 20% chance for victory. Nope. Utter defeat. Yeah, Edmund's pretty scary. I'd love to see that fight scene animated, by the way. It'd be cool. Yeah, that's big value right there. Tempting to do the Hans Brave Chain again because we get the NP and then extra attack. 30k. Pretty good. Looks like they give themselves a flat damage increase from their NP. Nice sound effects. He reused the skeleton work of Pent's NP for the start of that NP. Pretty lazy of them, but what are you gonna do? Now, I could Shin-Gong and kill all three of them, and then that would that would bring in Nash. But I don't need. I actually went too slow here, because I need to skip over Mash. I need to get I need to kill half the team, right? And we need to get Mordred and Ushi in here. But we won't lose now. We'll just have to get to them slowly. But we could win really fast if I could just get them on the field. But oh well. Little too slow and steady here. Because now we're gonna take a million years to kill Hohenheim. Because he's a caster and in the final unit on the team, when everyone's at full health, right? The final unit on the team is the only rider. Need to kill these ads kind of quick. So if I cast PFA like I was supposed to, I could cast it again right now. Tempted to do the art chain because I get overkill and just so much refund, but I don't want to risk getting a really bad hand next turn and not being able to do 10k. Unlikely. This is definitely not the brave play, but fuck. I was wanting fuck. I was wanting Protoku to hit the one here. Well, I could have gotten that NP refund and it wouldn't have mattered. I'm pretty sure we'll do 10k here. I could do Qinggong's second skill in case we have to phase tank it, but oh, we got it. We got it. Oh, and we crit and got 18k. Okay. Kind of crazy that he hit for that much when he just got his only attack buff. That's it. Team is working like too good, so no one's dying. Yeah, I don't know if Hohenheim deserves this music, but sure. 40 and a 20% chance to crit. Well, at least we got one of them. He doesn't. Well, someone is going to die at some point here, so we'll definitely get through our units. We got a lot of NPs coming our way. We don't have a lot of ways of surviving them. This is a damn good song though, man. Like, such a good final boss theme. And then she's easier than Gwen, but dude, they need a new game plus so bad. Give her a break bar, some gimmicks, because she should be a, like, lore-wise, she is like super strong, right? She's almost as strong as a Grand when she's all god moded up like that. And it's like, not that hard of a boss though. It's really disappointing. Come on, land the attack buff. Got the cool spear, right? A lot of build up to that fight. Miss the attack buff. Yeah, it's hard to say exactly, but she probably is stronger than a Grand, honestly. Only in her goddess form, clearly, but don't kill. All three of them attack Qinggong. That is so shit. I just wanted them all, I was gonna let them all die to the AoE NP. Fuck. Oh, that's so annoying, dude. Attacked him 3 goddamn times. Well, I don't want anyone dying to these 2 NPs. We'll do that. If Adam made it to an advanced stage, Edmund would be fucked. I mean, I think everyone's... If Adam makes it to stage 3, you're done, right? The question is... I think Edmund could beat stage 1 Adam, but it's stage 2. But the thing is, we never got to see stage 2 Adam, right? They told you a lot about stage 3, but you never saw it. And then they don't really tell you much about stage 2, but it exists. And then you only ever saw him in stage 1. But even stage 1 would be hard. Edmund's not exactly an AoE person, but space-time cares not. He doesn't like fire a giant ass all-engulfing laser beam, right? And Siegfried is NP alone is not enough, and Mordru's NP alone is not enough. And those are really big laser beams, so. All right, I think I just let everyone die. Oh fuck, Ku can't die. He didn't lose PFA. Well, grab some NP then. But Saber Nero, were you talking about Edmund? he doesn't do his NP. He does an extra attack. What a joke. What a joke. I actually, that time I gave up, I probably didn't actually have to give up. It still would have been really close, but anyway, Saber Nero, were you talking about Edmund versus the entire APOC cast? Like, at once, or just 1v1ing them all at once? Like, what was the context there? If it was all 1v1, I think he would beat the shit out of everyone except for Karna, Achilles, and then Adam, right? And then Adam would be very context specific in how it went down. And then I think he could beat Karna because it's kind of a mismatch for Karna, just because like he's gonna fire his main NP and Edmund can just yeet out of reality, so you just miss, and then Edmund just kills you when you have no armor, right? Pretty big problem there. Achilles would be. That'd be wild. I don't even know who would win that, because Achilles has his shield to deal with Edmund's big MP, and although Edmund is like hack speed, so is Achilles. Even with Edmund's nonsense, Achilles is so fucking fast that that'd be wild. I don't know who would win that. I could see that one going either way, really. The big problem, I actually kind of lean towards Achilles because. It'd be annoying enough for Edmund to deal with just how fast Achilles is and everything, but he's got the divinity thing, and so the only way he could hurt Achilles is with his soul burn stuff, and then if you hit him in the heel. You might say, oh, well, Edmund can teleport in Dragon Ball Z nonsense, and that'd be true if Achilles was a normal servant, but Achilles isn't a normal servant. So if Achilles didn't have the divinity thing, I'd say it's close, but because of the divinity thing, and that limits Edmund's options, I feel like Achilles is advantaged, right? Because even if Achilles doesn't have the divinity thing, he's still so fast and so skilled, and he's got the chariot and the shield and everything. It'd be hard to call, right? Then it looks pretty 50-50 to me. But then because Edmund's options are so limited and he has to go for the heal, or specifically the Black Flames, I feel like that puts it in Achilles' favor. Because I mean, Achilles can pretty much just take Edmund's head off. Although Edmund will come back to life if you do that. I kind of forgot about that part. So yeah, if Achilles gets the one big smack in, but then Edmund just comes back to life, I don't know. I don't know. They're fucked. That'd be a pretty wild fight. I don't know who I would bet on that one. Now that I think about it, yeah, kind of forgot about the whole resurrecting himself and coming back stronger thing. I really would like Ushi to be on the field right now, but I guess we're just dealing with it the old-fashioned way. Achilles' Comet form is basically, he can't have his armor around his heel while he's doing it, but he basically turns into a green lightning bolt and is just really fucking fast. Like at 30% speed, because when he got shot in the heel by Chiron, right? That lowers his Comet form speed by 70%. And then, but even so, at 30% speed, he is still significantly faster than Atalante in her boar form. The thing is, Achilles doesn't have to use a ton of mana. He only uses a ton of mana if he uses the chariot, but I don't really see much need for the chariot against Edmund anyway. Like, sure, if you hit him with it, great, but it'd be kind of hard to hit Achilles with the chariot. Although, if Achilles has a bullshit amount of mana, he can ramp up the chariot to like this, just insane, like bullshit speed. But that takes an unbelievable amount of mana to do that. However, if it is the APOC situation, he's got like 1,000,000 masters, and so he could probably do it if he wanted to. But I don't know, the chariot would be kind of a weird thing to use against someone like Edmund. You know what? I'm not gonna NP with Hans. I'm not gonna bother. Like, I want someone to die. The only way I would say the Chariot isn't bad against Edmund is if you have enough mana to get it to its top speed, because then it's literally like a blip, right? It's just like zigzagging all over the place, and you could definitely keep up with Edmund at that point. But if you don't have the mana to do that, I think the Chariot is just a waste. It's literally a waste of mana because Edmund will dodge it so easily. Yeah, Edmund is easily like top 10, you know, regular servants, right? Like he is super bullshit. Like who knew having hack speed and shooting energy blasts and reviving would be good or something. He's also completely immune to mental interference. Why are you not Ushi? Let's see if I can just kill him right here. God, this went on so long because I didn't cycle my units. Edmund versus Buddha, that's a really weird one. Might be Buddha though, just because Buddha is so ridiculous. Edmund has a way better shot than most people because, one, he definitely counts as a anti-hero. So, Buddha would only drain his stats by 1 instead of 2, so that helps. It's still bad, but it's not as bad. And he could dodge the, like, crazy artillery, you know, soul laser spam pretty easily. Though it might limit his, you know, options. The question is, could Edmund avoid getting hit by Buddha's enlightenment laser, if you want to call it that, right? If he can, then he's fine, and I'd actually say he's got a pretty good chance at beating Buddha then. If he can't, then he's just fucked. So it's like, can he yeet out of space-time to not get hit by that NP or not, right? And there's really no way to say, because that NP is so weird. We actually didn't kill Hohenheim, feels bad. Will she do 5k? Let's hope so. Got Buster up. No! No! The value! God! This run is cursed! Oh my god! This does not feel like winning. The music though. Oh my... No! That's the wrong button! Well, I want to do the Mordred one, but I hit the wrong button. I'm salty now. I'm just throwing. Okay, you can stop critting, champ. This is what happens when you don't have caster DPS, by the way. Jesus. That was pretty fucked. I'm not even articulating myself, I'm just swearing. Alright, go away, Jack. So, Saber Nero, you know there's some anime-only fans out there and all that on Reddit or whatever that absolutely think that Emiya would murder Edmund, like easy mode. You know that exists. That guy is out there. Imagine trying to use unlimited blade works on Edmund. He could literally just leave the reality marble. And also you could so easily dodge that shit because, you know, it's Edmund. And I don't think Ro Ayas is gonna be blocking the soul burn. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think that's gonna work, champ. Okay, more normal stage here. That was kind of a wild stage they had going there. I'm thinking my back row won't matter. It's like, Emiya's not a bad servant, but that's such a terrible matchup. That kind of like Like, what are you gonna do? Throw a sword at him? Right? Like, good luck. Ozzy versus Edmund would be an interesting one. Edmund would probably just leave the reality marble though, and then if Ozzy tried to fight Edmund outside of it, he would die. So it's kind of a standoff, I feel. But you know what? Actually, I bet you Edmund Soulfire would kill Ozzy inside of his reality marble. I don't think he would have to actually... I don't think he'd have to kill the Sphinxes and stuff. I think that would just kill him, because that's how the Soulfire stuff like works. Like, it kills Ro from Tsukihime, you know, it perma kills him. So I have a feeling that would kill Ozzy. And the NP seal from Ozzy would probably not work on Edmund, because that's kind of like, you know, confining him. You know, he's got that whole ability where he can't be imprisoned conceptually or physically, so that's pretty rough for Ozzy there. Although Ozzy has got a lot of options though, with the poison and the orbital lasers and just the Sphinxes and everything, so it's not a hopeless one, but that is kind of right. Edmund is just bullshit, man. He's such a ridiculous servant. Most of the best stuff for Edmund is people that just have like all kinds of crazy hacks nonsense themselves, right? He's hard to even gank, because if you like, you know, gank him, he can resurrect himself, and then he knows you're trying to gank him, so it's a bit of a problem. Ongra could win. If only. Edmund is one of the few people, though, that even if Gil's being serious, I think Edmund has a chance. It's really hard to call that one, though, just because there's so many weird bullshit effects in Gate of Babylon that we have no idea about. So they could, you know, who knows? And, you know, Gil does have the really tanky armor. Amalur with the fucking 10 gifted subs, man. I really appreciate that. What was I saying? Oh yeah, Gil with the tanky armor and can see the future, and because then he knows where Edmund's going to appear if he wants to. And there's all the weird NPs, like the teleporting swords and all that nonsense, so it's a weird matchup. But Edmund definitely has a better ability to gank Gilgamesh than most people, so yeah, I don't know how it would go, really. Probably up to the writer, really. Like, if the writer wants Gil to win, you can easily just, you know, have Gil use use the future sight thing and all that other weird hacks nonsense, and if you want Edmund to win, just have Gil not do that, right? So and actually, one thing that might be pretty dangerous to Edmund is Proto-Bolg. And it's kind of hinted at that the Bolg Gilgamesh has is the one Loth had, which, from what Nasu was kind of hinted at, sounds like has the cause-effect reversal 24/7. Like, by just existing, it has the cause-effect reversal. Edmund's really sneaky and everything with the space-time stuff, but if there's one thing that he probably can't stop, it would be a hit from Bolg. So that could potentially be a problem there. I'm pretty sure Edmund would beat the piss out of Gramps. I love Gramps and everything, but there's literally nothing in Gramps' toolkit to deal with a Dragon Ball Z character, right? Like, there's nothing in his toolkit to deal with any of that. And his stealth doesn't even work on the person he's fighting, so that, like, it'd probably take Edmund a minute to kill him, but because he's got battle continuation and the armor and he's tanky and everything. But I don't see how Gramps would ever even be able to hit him with anything. And if somehow he did, Edmund would just self-resurrect. So Gramps has really got some nice stuff, but it's just the reason why Edmund is so busted is most people, if there's no plot armor, you're just never gonna hit him. I mean, like, it's just bullshit. Dude's leaving space-time. It's like, yeah, this is balanced. Yeah, Gramps can die. He can be defeated like anybody else. He just has a high endurance stat and a really high battle continuation stat. There's nothing about him where he's unkillable. You know, he's a servant. He's just a servant. You know, if his spiritual core gets damaged, he's fucked like anybody else. I mean, runes are good, but we don't even know what half of the runes do. But like, you know, the runes could protect you against, you know, flying laser bolts and shit like that, but there's no like confirmed runes that are just gonna counter anything Edmund does. But we don't know what half of them do because they don't bother to tell us. Because I figured they actually want that in their back pocket if they ever want to bullshit a reason for Zigguard, Ku, Scath, or whoever to just do some bullshit effect to win some fight they shouldn't be able to win. But runes would be good, right? They give you, you know, they have like the ones you can inscribe into the armor that automatically activate when you get attacked by like an NP or something. So, you know, they're good. If Kojiro's got like good footing and everything, from what the character material says, is like the attack comes out, like Edmund would have to already be like teleporting out to not get hit by it, right? So if Edmund was like, oh, I should dodge this, it's too late, right? So if he knew what it did and he knew to just never get close in the first place, Edmund would be fine. But even Edmund, if for any reason he was close to Kojiro when the attack went off, he would get hit, like for sure. Because if you read the character material of that, all the fucking warpy space bullshit that it does, it's like if you're near it when it happens, you get hit by it. Like there's really no way out of it. It's like it literally says like zero dodge, right? There's like no way. The only bad thing would be Edmund might be able to resurrect from it because it's not an NP. It's just 3 slashes. So 3 slashes from Kojiro, I'm not sure. Now it doesn't say it in the character material, but I've always kind of wondered, because they don't say it doesn't, I kind of wonder if like the reality warping that happens, and it makes like, because even in the visual novel, it makes like those purple energy slashes. So I kind of wonder if the reality warping aspect of it makes it do more damage than he normally would do. That's just a guess though. Nothing actually suggests that happens. But it doesn't really suggest otherwise either, so it's kind of hard to say. They don't, because it doesn't have a rank, right? It's not a noble phantasm, so it's not really clear how much actual damage. Like seriously, I don't think anything really points to how much straight damage you take from Kojiro's 3 slashes. It doesn't. I don't think anything hints towards it. So it's not. If it like just completely, you know, obliterates Kojiro, then he can't come back. But I would overwhelmingly suspect that Kojiro could self-resurrect from it. And that'd be so Kojiro would have to hit him with it twice. Now Kojiro it takes no mana for Kojiro to do it. It's pure skill. He can do it as many times as he wants. The thing is, if Edmund saw it once, he would probably never get close to Kojiro again. Right? As Saber Nero said, he probably would underestimate Kojiro. You know, Edmund's a bit cocky, to be honest. You know, he's tactical and all that with his revenge and stuff, but you know, he's not perfect. I could totally see him underestimating Kojiro and like on a miracle, you know, a good ending for Kojiro. You know, like right as, you know, Edmund's, you know, dancing around, you know, he just Kojiro gets in the right spot and does it. But then Edmund would, that's a miracle, right? The odds of that happening are terrible, but some miracle that happens, I think Edmund would just self-resurrect, and then Edmund would never get near him again, and he'd just bombard him, and that's that. Because ultimately, Edmund could kill Kojiro in like seconds, right? Kojiro is not very fast, he's not very durable, he's not a heroic spirit, he has no armor, right? He's just Jim Bob, and you know, if Edmund starts teleporting it, because Edmund can teleport where like there's multiple versions of him at once and shoot lasers from every angle, right? And Edmund couldn't, Kojiro couldn't face tank a single hit. So it's pretty bad. Kojiro does not win very many 1v1s if his opponent takes him seriously, and it's not because Kojiro's not skilled. Kojiro's like the most skilled. It's because you know, he's not a heroic spirit. He doesn't have a noble phantasm. He doesn't have any magical items. He's not summoned properly. So he's very weak physically, and he's not very fast in terms of like moving and stuff compared to like, because it says Saber, when she has Shiro as a master, is faster and stronger than him. You know, his hands are very agile, but yeah, he's quite weak in a typical fight. So if someone just stays, it's easy for someone to just stay away from him and murder him with a noble phantasm because he has no defense for something like that. It's kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is. Yeah, he's just a guy with a sword that's so skilled it's like, you know, horrifying. Because if you do underestimate him and you do try to fight him with a blade and you don't have armor or anything, you're gonna die in like half a second, right? He doesn't even need to use his special technique, right, to kill you. A lot of servants would get, like, no joke, like Boudica, if Boudica tried to fight Kojiro at melee, she would be dead before she even knows what happens. And like, I think the visual novel makes that really clear, right? Like, like Artoria, even though she has the stat advantage in Kojiro and everything, she is shocked at how easily he almost kills her with like every single strike that he does. She's just like, Jesus Christ. You know, she's having to really, you know, Artoria is, you know, very skilled, right? Not that Boudica's a bitch, but they're, an average servant like Boudica would just, they would immediately get their head decapitated if they got near Kojiro. That being said, Boudica has a Noble Phantasm, her sword, that can fire like mini lasers, and she can say its true name to shoot a decently large laser. She could literally kill Kojiro like that. Like in Fate Stay Night, if Kojiro's up there on the steps and Boudica's at the bottom of the steps, because Kojiro literally cannot get off the steps, Boudica could just stay there, point the sword that way, and just keep shooting the lasers until he's dead, right? Literally nothing he could do about that. The only way Kojiro could survive that is if Medea gave a shit and decides to teleport there and defend him, which she could do if she thought it was worth doing, but she generally doesn't because Medea's not a Kojiro fan. But yeah, Medea could easily block Boudica's lasers, and then if Boudica had to move in, then Kojiro would kill her immediately. They actually put Boudica's, I probably should have buffed there, like the attack up. I think I would have killed them all if I did that. Anyway, they at least did Boudica's other Noble Phantasm and her normal attack animations. You just don't really see it much for animation update. Yep, if I'd done the attack up, I would have killed them all. One of the only times Medea helped Kojiro was against Hercules because she was so aware Hercules was a massive threat. But she doesn't respect Kojiro and she doesn't like him and she resents that she summoned him instead of something more useful in her eyes. They do not get along. They're probably the least compatible combo, like, ever. Like, he really dislikes her and she really dislikes him. And they just don't understand each other at all. Even though they actually could complement each other very well. Like, because if she wanted to, she could super enhance Kojiro, but she doesn't bother, and she can offset all his problems, and he can offset a lot of, not all of her problems, but he can offset some of her problems. But they have no teamwork, and they don't even want to have teamwork, so. Yeah, I wish Boudica's laser. What I wish they had done is her normal attack should have incorporated some of the like laser spam because it says it can be fired very rapidly. You know, it's like no mana cost really, and then she can say the true name and it's like a B+ Noble Phantasm or B or something. I don't remember what it is, but they could have made that the extra attack and that'd have been really cool. And, oh god, her extra attack is so shit though. She does like the most stilted, like stiff. Backflip ever, right? It's so bad. Like, they didn't reanimate her at all. Like, none of her body parts get reanimated for the backflip, so it just looks atrocious. It's so sad, too, because I think Boudica's pretty cool. You know, reasonable design for what she's based on. You know, obviously, you can just use stage 2 if you want to ignore stage 1. You know, she's got interesting lore, very interesting lore abilities, right? Nice normal servant, right? No over-the-top alien bullshit, but then they put absolutely no effort into her animations at all. I don't even know why they really don't seem to like Boudica because she's like the butt of a lot of jokes and her own interlude is just awful, but she's kind of popular. Out of the low stars, you know, she's one of the waifu ones, if you will, and she's got a decent following. And she'd have a much bigger following if they actually gave her any love, right? If she actually had a cool interlude and got screen time and, you know, wasn't Nero bitch, I think she'd be even more popular than she is, so. I think they've kind of ruined that character and it's a real shame. Maybe we'll get Avenger Boudica and they'll do it right, but that's so frustrating, right? That's such a dumb thing, right? Like, you have to get Avenger Boudica to get the Boudica. The thing is, Boudica, the Avenger Boudica, though, will probably be too far on their RAR side, right? Like, I think what makes the character interesting is, like, the middle ground. I don't know why I even used the NP of Siegfried there, because I didn't buff him. So that is an interesting fight, Saber Nero. So let's think about that. So one thing that would be tough for Emiya, I will say, is the fact that Mordred is so fucking tanky. She's about as skilled as Artoria. Her NP is not as powerful, but it's also quicker and easier to use. But then Mordred is just straight tankier than Artoria. She has more armor, she has a higher endurance stat, and she has battle continuation. So that would be rough, right? You can't just hit her with a few swords and have her die, right? That's not gonna happen at all. But Emiya's got a lot of versatility. You know, he could do fronting and his version of Bolg, right? And that'd be really hard for Mordred to deal with. Like, that would be really hard for Mordred to deal with. She'd have to hit one of the NPs with her NP, otherwise I think she'd just immediately die. I think if Emiya, like, tried to fight at range, I think he would have a pretty good chance of winning. I think Mordred would have a hard time dealing... Like, what Emiya did against Casterku, I think would kill Mordred more times than not. Unless she already knew it was coming and was already preparing her NP, I think that would just kill her, right? She might be able to deal with one of them, but the other one would kill her, I think. However, if Emiya tried to, like, use unlimited blade works or fight her up close, I think he'd have a really bad time. Because not only is she about as skilled as Artoria, but she fights dirty, and then she's really tanky. So that would, and again, the NP can be used rather easily. That'd be really bad. So I think I favor Emiya here, just because if there's no plot armor, I feel like Emiya would just do what he did against Artoria and Fate Hollow, right? And the only reason Saber ever got out of that was because they had information of previous loops. And they, you know, preemptively used a command spell. Where if without any information, you know, Artoria just gets bodied there, right? But it kind of depends on the engagement, right? Like, if Mordred gets the jump on Emiya, then it's atrociously bad for him. But if he just can snipe her, I think it's really in his favor. The only thing I can think of that really kind of helps Mordred is the fact that her compatibility with her master is better than, like, any servant combo they've ever done. And she can use her NP much easier than normal because of it. She can heal, like, really rapidly because of it. Also, Stheno is really smart and is rather willing to use command spells, apparently. So yeah, I think it could depend on the story context. Like, in the right circumstance, Mordred could definitely kill Emiya. But I think if there's no plot armor, totally fair fight, no prep time for either, and they start at range, then Emiya wins. Where now, I guess if you put them in like a square room and they're at like a medium range, so Emiya can't just easily sit back and snipe. Then I don't know. Then it's pretty tough because Mordred could probably just, you know, zerg in there and you know, use her armor to face tank a lot, and then if Emiya can't get away, he's never going to do like fronting or anything, and then he'd be in trouble. So it really, I think, just comes down to like the engagement range at that point. But Rin wouldn't really be able to do a lot because Mordred has a really high magic resist, so that she would not be particularly useful there because like, if I remember correctly, Mordred's magic resist is A, so Rin's stuff would just be null, like, entirely. And Rin's a good master, so she'll give Emiya support with, like, healing and mana and stuff, but she's not like a tactical genius. She's not going to be the one giving any good advice to Emiya. Emiya's going to be the one giving good advice to her, right? So she's not particularly useful there. So if it's prototype Hyde versus Mordred, I would say Hyde, because I don't think Mordred could I don't think there's any way for her to kill him. Like, he's too strong and he heals too rapidly. Like, he fucking face tanked Ozzy's orbital laser and he just healed it back, right? So I don't think Mordred's NP would be enough to one-shot him with what he's already face tanked. Like, that just seems like, even if she could hold her own for a little while, I don't see how she could win that. Like, he's way too tanky. And honestly, if it's 1v1, I think she'd get shredded. Like, you know, she's really skilled, she's really tanky, and she's got, you know, street smarts, if you will, which, you know, she's not trying to, like, fight like an honor bro. But, I mean, Hyde in his monster's form, if he's just focusing on one person, I think it would be pretty overwhelming for a lot of normies. Because, like, in Fate Prototype, it takes, like, a squad of servants to take care of him, and that's when his master was dead, right? And so he wasn't getting any healing or mana, right? If he's got a master, I mean, oh my god, I think Mordred would have a bad time. Now, the good news is, if it was like an actual Grail War, Mordred is so tanky that she's not going to just die out of nowhere. It's not like Hyde's going to claw her in the face and instantly kill her, right? She's got the armor, the high endurance stat, the battle continuation. So if Stheno saw that she is just not in a good way here, he would probably teleport her out with a command spell or something, and then you would just fuck off, right? So in a real war scenario, it's okay. And then you just hope Hyde is not the final opponent, right? Because yeah, but if it came down to like the final two combatants in a Grail War were Mordred and Hyde, I guess the one way you could win, but this could be true for Hyde too. Like the Hyde team could do this. If Susigo used a command spell to boost up Mordred's NP, then you could potentially kill Hyde, but you could the Hyde's master could use an NP to boost his defense, and then it wouldn't work, right? So there's plot armor ways to like have a big dramatic showdown where Mordred wins, but I would say like 90-10 Hyde is going to win that in most like reasonable, plausible scenarios. Hyde is pretty damn strong. Yeah, Karna could probably take Hyde. Karna would have to be serious though. Like he'd have to use his main Noble Phantasm. If he used one of his regular ones, I think Hyde would just face tank it and then instantly heal it back. It would be bad for Karna. Like if you were, let's say it was APOC, you would not want Karna to have to use his main NP to kill Hyde, because then now for the rest of the war, Karna doesn't have his armor and all that. And that's not good, right? So it would be very unfortunate, but it would be possible for Karna to take out Hyde for sure. Like Karna's NP is just, I mean, it's ridiculous. Now, unfortunately, Fate Grand Order Hyde is weaker, and his like Saint Graph is messed up, and that's because they didn't know how to draw his werewolf form back in the day. It's the same reason why we didn't get Lancer Vlad. If he was added today, he would have been added proper, but because he was added back then, they made some convoluted bullshit side version of Jekyll and Hyde, and he's much weaker. He's still pretty strong. He does still can heal back, and he's very tanky and has good stats when he transforms and everything. But he's not half as dangerous as he is in Prototype. But his Prototype self is his normal self. His FGO self is irregular. I have no idea what stage this is. I don't know how do you think of that, right? Some of these matchups are wild, but they're way more interesting than like Gilgamesh versus David. So same thing with Emiya versus Hyde. That would be a very dramatic and cool fight because Hyde would have a billion swords in him, but Emiya would be pretty fucked because if you did Harunting into Bolg, right? He would just face tank Harunting and dodge the other Bolg, right? And he would just heal back Harunting, right? It would do like nothing, right? It's a little hole in his arm, like whoop-de-doo. I don't think Emiya would reasonably be able to trace enough stuff to actually kill Hyde. He would just keep healing it all back. Also, Hyde is so fast that he could get to Emiya very quickly. So even if Emiya started far away, he might start with Harunting, then it would just completely fail and not work on Hyde at all. And then Hyde's gonna start closing in on him. And then like if Emiya had like the best case scenario where like Hyde is like asleep, you know, Emiya could like trace his strongest stuff and then like do a broken Noble Phantasm and fire it all at once, use all of his mana, you know, and make some giant ass explosion, and maybe he can one-shot Hyde that way. But it's hard to say if that would work. I mean, the stuff that Hyde face tanked was pretty ridiculous. So that's a really bad matchup for him. It'd be very cool in an anime though, because it would be an opportunity for both of them to show off what they can do, right? Because Hyde can just face tank all this crazy OP stuff that Emiya can do that normally they won't let Emiya use because it would ruin the story. They don't let Emiya do most of his stuff because he'll just snipe someone from across the city and then they're dead. It's like, oh yeah, that's dramatic, right? The plot stops Emiya from doing his cool stuff. But Hyde can handle it, right? He's a big boy. But then Hyde gets to show off how he can just, you know, face tank all this stuff and how fast he is and, you know, how good his smash, you know, claw stuff is. So it'd be very awesome to see. But if there was no plot armor, I do think Hyde would win. I just don't see how Emiya could kill him. Like if Ozzy's orbital railgun isn't killing Hyde, I don't see like a broken Noble Phantasm or something like that doing it. I don't think so. Unless Emiya has like, you know, has some crazy NP, like some sword that's got some anti-Hyde effect on it, right? And then he has a chance. Because Emiya's, you know, it's got a lot of variety like that, so. See you, Red. Alright, what are we putting in there? So yeah, Emiya definitely has a chance, but even if though Emiya has a good counter Noble Phantasm, Hyde is still, you know, so fast and everything, it might not be possible for Emiya to just easily be able to, you know, figure out that he needs to do that and then trace it, right? It's not really regen though. Like he's pretty fucked up. But yeah, if he had some kind of, I could see Emiya potentially having something, but he'd have to, again, by the time he figures it out, it might be too late. That's the big problem. But again, range, like how close is Emiya when the fight starts, and that stuff affects it a lot. But like I said, it'd be really interesting because it's a matchup where they could both use a lot of their tools, so. Never gonna happen, by the way. Yeah, Emi is pretty observant, but Hyde's also really fast, so you don't have a lot of time to you know, figure it out. But again, if he's just like from across the city, then Emi would have a decent chance, I think. Because then you can do stuff, have it fail, and then still have time to do other things. I don't really know, like. This probably isn't a boss battle, so I can probably just do whatever in the back here. I should be bringing Stheno for Bond, but I need Bond on a lot of people to do like their strengthening quests and stuff. Siegfried doesn't need it. What a team. Achilles could probably kill Hyde if he used a really massive amount of mana, because basically the chariot can go way above its rank in damage. Like, you can give it more and more mana with basically no cap, and it can do more and more damage and be a bigger and bigger, like, roadkill thing. But to get it to, it says to get it to like that crazy OP level of damage, you basically have to have enough mana to just raw summon a servant in the first place, right? Which no regular Magus has that kind of mana. So that's generally not a thing. You maybe could use a command spell, though. You could use a command spell to offset the mana and do it that way. So if you use a command... That's a thing that a lot of people forget about command spells. They're like loads of mana in them. But outside of that, you know, Achilles isn't the kind of servant to be like, oh man, I can fire a giant laser beam, right? He's more like lots of medium damage. The chariot is the one way for him to do a big nuke. But if it was at a more reasonable chariot level, like the one time he used it in APOC, that would not kill Hyde. But if you give it extra mana, that definitely could. But yeah, the mana cost would be extreme. That'd be really bad for Hyde though, because Achilles is just so fast that Hyde would have a Hyde is fast when he's werewolf form, but Achilles is faster, so it'd be really hard for him to do anything. And then also, Hyde doesn't have divinity. So really, at best it's a standstill, but at worst Achilles wins. So overall, I'd say it favors Achilles quite a bit. There's not a lot Hyde could do, right? Like he's not gonna get Achilles in the heal because Achilles is just way too fast and skilled and everything. There's just no way for Hyde to win that. Hyde doesn't seem to be particularly mana hungry because when he's not fighting, he can be Jekyll, which takes no mana at all, and then he was able to sustain himself for quite a while when his master was dead. So if his master's alive, then I don't think it's a problem. So doesn't seem like he has mana problems really. Yeah, I mean, his Candor was buffed by Waver's command spells. But yeah, that was kind of a fucked up matchup. Gil wasn't even like trying that hard. I mean, he was trying in a way. He used Aya at a much stronger level than he normally does, and that alone is him trying harder than almost any other time. And he did that because he respected his Kandar. He was actually willing to use Aya at a way higher level than he used it against Victoria, right? But he wasn't like. It's not like he didn't instantly use Chains of Heaven, which he could have. He didn't use Original Sin. He wasn't even really doing anything special with Gate, right? He kind of wanted his Kandar to see the folly of his ways, blah blah blah, right? So, although he was willing to use Aya at a really high level, it's not like he was actually going all out. You know, he wasn't like using his spaceship while charging Aya, while firing everything from gate, and he wasn't doing that, right? There were so many things he could have done to really screw over his Kandar if he wanted to, but I don't think he really wanted to do that. He just wanted to win, but I don't think he was trying to like humiliate him or anything. Intoki versus Hyde? I don't think Intoki would have enough damage to kill Hyde. I don't see he'd want to fight at close range, and that is not a good idea. Like, Intoki's NP is powerful, but I don't see that killing Hyde. Again, considering what Hyde was already shown to phase tank, I don't see how that would work. Unless I'm forgetting something, he does have monster strength and all that, so he can go blow to blow for quite a while, right? It's not like he'd get run over or anything at all, because Kentoki is strong as fuck, like, Jesus Christ. He might even have the upper hand, actually, in raw strength, but there's just no way for him to kill Hyde. But I don't know, he might be able to make Hyde retreat or something, right? He might be able to just, do so well with his NP and his high strength stat and everything, he gets Hyde to back off. So it might depend on context, really. But if he kept brawling until one of them died, I think Hyde would eventually win. Just because I don't see how Kentoki could finish him off. Oh, this is actually a boss fight, and I got Ushi really fucked up here. And there's this saber. Oh joy! It's looking great. Okay, well, give me NP here, game. If we're talking about regular Joan of Arc, that's not accurate at all. Joan of Arc is very safe against giant-ass AoEs. She's probably the safest thing ever, really, against giant-ass AoEs. Because of her NP, it can basically block anything. There's like almost no getting through that. I mean, it's weak. What it's weak to is things like bulk, right? Things like that, like weird effects like that, that you can't like shield in that way. But Joan of Arc is really safe against like. She could probably block Karna's NP, actually. She's got like super hacks there. That'd be tough though. I mean, Karna's NP at its full power is one of the harder things. Probably couldn't block Aya because she might be able to block it for a while. Like if Gil fired Aya like he did against Saber, she could easily block that. Like no problem. But if he used it like full on, where it's just the drill spinning, the air is like crushing everything. Gil can just keep doing that. It just keeps going and going and going and going, right? It lasts longer than Joan of Arc's shield does. So she couldn't keep it up forever. Aya doesn't even take mana, for God's sakes, right? Because it's a real mobile phantasm. It has like no mana cost. So Gil can just keep the drill spinning for as long as he wants and the air vortex bullshit for as long as he wants. Also, like, so Gil almost never uses Aya seriously, right? Because he doesn't respect people. He also doesn't want to fuck up the planet. One of the few times he uses it seriously is against Kandar, and look at what it does. It sunders the earth, right? So remember when the earth was just getting ripped to shreds, right? All the guys are falling into the pit of nothingness, right? Imagine you've got Joan of Arc there waving her flag as the earth crumbles, right? And she's just sitting there waving the flag as she falls into the abyss. It's kind of like, well, she didn't take any damage, guys, right? Doesn't really help, right? So, I don't think she would do that well against Gil if Gil was giving a fuck. But really, most of the time, Gil just fires off Aya really generically like he does, in the Fate route or in the Unlived Blade Works route. And that she could block absolutely, right? Like, no problem. She easily could block that. It's rare that Gil is, whipping out Aya. Like, the only times he's really... I can think of four. I can think of 4 canonical times Gil's really used Aya at a high level, and that's just Kandar and Enkidu, obviously, and Gil's willing to do it there because he knows Enkidu's tree will keep the world from getting, shredded, so no big deal there. And then in CCC, because it's the moon, and then Tiamat, right, because, Jesus Christ, Tiamat. Also in the underworld, so no problem. But other than that, Gil never uses it seriously because he doesn't want to and he doesn't think he needs to. So he's like, oh, let me just kill this bint, and he just for some reason uses Aya. He probably wouldn't even use it, to be honest, but she could definitely block that. A typical Aya blast, I don't think she'd have any problem blocking. Alright, what are we doing here? Guess we NP with Ushi first, so we overcharge Mordred. Do I want to... I almost want to give the attack buff to Mordred, so we at least do more damage to that Saber enemy. Because he's going to be a bit of a problem. But Hohenheim is the main threat, so I guess we'll do it this way. Honestly, it's hard to say, but because Aya's got a lot of different properties and bullshit and, you know, it's nonsense, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Aya that Gil used on Enkidu was the strongest one out of the lot, because it says the crushing void engulfs the entire planet, right? Gil's been pretty serious there, but because he's aware that the tree protects the entire planet, right? So it's fine. But that's maybe off the top that feels like that's definitely stronger than the one he used against his Kandar. I don't know about CCC though and stuff like that. It's kind of hard to say, but. Let's see. So by the way, when Gil gets summoned into Fate Strange Fake, he's not corrupted by the Grail or the Ongra Curse in any way, right? Because that makes him a little crazy in Fate's Day Night. It doesn't, like, nothing like, you know, Saber Alter or anything, but it does affect him a little bit, right? But, so it's basically like his Fate Zero self, right? So he's just his normal adult self, summoned into the modern era, and Gilgamesh is not a big fan of the modern era. So he was, like, bored, and he doesn't give a fuck about the Grail, right? He doesn't give a shit about any of that stuff. And he was so bored in Fate Strange Fate that he was going to drink his potion of youth and just be Kid Gil and not even partake in any of it, right? Like, he wasn't going to deal, because he can keep himself alive on his own. So he was just going to fuck off and be Kid Gil and, like, go have fun in some random city or whatever. And that's literally what he was going to do. And the only reason he doesn't do that is because Enkidu is there. And he's like, oh shit. It's like, I can actually, this is actually worth my time now. But yeah, he was literally gonna chug the... Some people think that's gonna be relevant later though. So what happened was, so Gil got summoned by like some fuck guy, and then that master gets like attacked by, fuck, what is her name? I don't remember her name. But she's a Native American, right? And she's wanting to, like, you know, save her people from the kind of fucked up scenario, you know, they're in America these days. Anyway, she takes the command spells from Gil's original master. But Gil just doesn't care. Like, he doesn't, like, oh, look at these masters fighting each other, right? He doesn't give a shit. And so he's just gonna, you know, he's like impressed with her resolve, but, you know, whatever, right? So he's just gonna drink the potion and leave. But then because of Enkidu, he decides to... Now, she's already pretty young, by the way. She's not that old, right? She's like a young teenager at best. And so when Gil notices Enkidu is there, he decides to actually partake, right? And he just, like, tosses her the potion of youth because he doesn't need it anymore. It's like, oh, I don't need this anymore. But again, she's already... you know, really young, and he just kind of, you know, because he doesn't need it anymore, he's like tosses it to her. It's like, what the fuck? But a lot of people think they're going to use it because either she'll give it to some other servant and some crazy shit will happen, or she's going to use it on Gil because Gil's like, you know, really jacked up from Humbaba, you know, stabbing him in the fucking chest, right? So he's in like a really bad state. He's like on life. He's on copium, right? You know, pretty much from Enkidu. Enkidu's trying to help him, but Enkidu's like, yeah, this ain't good. But some people think they're gonna have Gil drink the potion, and that's like some way to heal his saint graph, and that actually makes sense to an extent, I guess. But some people think that's why she has the potion of youth, and she'll use it on Gil. The funny thing is, if Gil does die, she'll still have it because it's a real noble phantasm. But because maybe they're gonna do something else with it, and you know, she gives it to some she gives it to some other nonsense. You know, give it to what's his name, Zoltrek, right? Some stupid shit like that. She could give it to one of the other servants or whatever. You know, who knows? But I could see them having her give it to Gil, and then he's Kid Gil for a book or two, and then you know, heals his saint graph that way. Because that's actually kind of, because Kid Gil's weaker, right? So he's not going to be able to just shit stomp You know, even if he's serious. So, because obviously now that he's seen Humbaba and all this other stuff, Gil should now get really serious. But now Gil's fucked up because he got ganked. But if he gets saved by Kid Gil, he might be serious still, but because his Kid Gil is weaker, right? So that'd be kind of interesting. And then you could have him go back to adult form at the end, right? You know, if Enkidu drank the potion of youth, he would probably turn into Berserker Enkidu. I wonder if they're going to do that, because they've mentioned Berserker Enkidu several times. But straight up, if Enkidu took the potion of youth, I think he absolutely would turn into a Berserker Enkidu. And that, they might do that. Because it looks like, you know, because of her connection with Gil, I think Enkidu is probably gonna, you know, help her out. And so, maybe that's what they're gonna use the potion of youth for. That'd be interesting. But yeah, no, absolutely, I think that's what would happen, so. He only got shot by Hercules' arrows because of Humbaba and Ishtar, so. Gil was winning for the most part against Hercules there, but, or not Ulysses, if you will. Anyway, yeah, it was pretty much a 3v1 there. Do I go for another Ushi and P? Man, Mordred got Fubard. Sadly, the writer said he didn't want to write regular Hercules. He didn't think he should. He thought Nasu should do it, so I don't think that's going to happen. But you never know. Years have gone by, and you know he talks to Nasu all the time, so you never know. I know originally Ishtar was supposed to. He said Ishtar was going to die pretty early in the story, but he changed his mind because of Fate Grand Order, because you know that's a good reason. So yeah, I don't know. I think some of this stuff might get really dumb. We'll see. Dude, okay, I want to taunt here, but then I need to save the evade. So I taunt and don't evade. So I let Shenggong die, I think. And then Ushi will get her NP from evading the AoE NP. And then Mordred lives long enough to do her NP again. I'm actually kind of worried because he like really likes Ishtar now. I'm kind of worried he's just gonna like fanboy and not have Ishtar have anything bad happen to Ishtar for like the whole story. So I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, the Potion of Youth probably would remove the mud. That would be awesome, but probably not gonna happen. Okay, well Mordred's fucking dead, but at least she can get her NP again. I'm thinking Kidu's gonna whoop some ass though at some point. I'm really looking forward to the next book. Like, I'm really looking forward to the next book. The music knows. The music knows. Yeah, no, he was like, oh, I can handle this, but then, yeah, Humbaba. Okay. If only I had known there was going to be a big saber here. I'm a little worried that saber is going to kill us. I would actually like to get George's NP. Don't think that's going to happen, though. Owenheim is not a threat. I actually don't want to kill him yet. I can wait until he's about to NP again. Let's go, Hans DPS. Let's do it. Dude, I love Fate Strange Fake Jack. He is so cool. And You know, a lot of people think he's going to be the first casualty, but we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Woo! George with the 17 health. Alright, Hans, land the attack buff. Because, unfortunately, George just got attacked down, and I don't think he's a particularly high NP rank either. I just want Saber in the game, period, right? I just, like, I hope they do a Fate Extra thing when the remake comes out, and they just rate him up, for God's sakes. Like, I don't even care how he gets in the game, just get Buddha in here already. Just get Buddha's booty in the game, if you will. If he's a fucking pretender, I'm gonna lose my goddamn mind, dude. Such a stupid class. Good class icon, though, but, dumb as fuck class. Not really clear if Humbaba is normally a servant, because basically something was being summoned, and Ishtar put Humbaba's soul in it to stabilize it. So, not exactly clear if you can just straight summon Humbaba. Now, that wouldn't stop F-Go, mind you. Like, that's a fucking mad. We summon God Juna, right? It literally doesn't matter. I love people saying, oh, you can't summon Zeus. He's a chief god. As I grail my Ishtar and my god Juna, who's an entire pantheon of gods. Like, what the fuck, right? Like, it's ridiculous, right? We summon so much dog shit that you have no business summoning, and it don't mean nothing. I actually should have drained the Saber, because his NP is the real threat here. I'm just kind of keeping Hohenheim alive, because he doesn't do a lot of damage. Although, now that Stheno's here, he does. So he actually needs to die now. I'm gonna charm him, though, because I don't think I can kill him now. Too bad I didn't rank up the skill. Thank God it worked anyway. Let's go Hans DPS again. Oh my god, is Hans gonna do it? Then I didn't need a charm. Well, pointless charm. It was just BM. You know, it's like that Nara wink emote, right? You just do that on their way out, you know. Okay, just don't NP Ushi. And we're good. I should have brave chained with Stheno. That would have been plenty of damage. Okay, it's fine though. Okay, that was wonky as fuck, but we got it. Oh wait, that would cause way too much controversy. That's not gonna happen. It's like adding the Prophet Muhammad, right? They're never gonna do something like that. Alright, let's do an account review, because I kind of forgot to be doing those. And then I might need to wrap up, because it's getting really late. Chat, can we have content in F-Go, though? Like, please? I think a lot of people would fanboy or and fangirl if they added Flat, to be honest. He's pretty popular. Okay, let's see. We did CrystalClarent, we did Babylon. We'll do Shadow 20, who is in chat from time to time. I don't know if he's here right now, but alright, what do we got here? I'm story focused and would like my account to be able to beat challenge quests. I don't grind mats outside of events, so the usual suspects are always low. Bones, proofs, yep. All my 3 and 4 star Grail targets would be Grail to 90 and 1 and 2 stars to 100. Okay. Oh, that's so nice. He's just got the MP ranks right there. Look, effort, chat. Look at this man actually taking 9 seconds to put the picture in MS Paint and scribbling on the pictures, right? That's too much work for most people, man. They can't hack it. But okay, what do we got here? So I think this is an NA account. NP2 Zigguard, okay, and then Sitting Master. So Sitting Master is really worth getting those skill ranks up on because he's just so good, and then he's got your hard survival because Zigguard just has guts, which is good, but you might want more than that. So between Sigurd and Sitting Master, that's like your absolute best single target options right there. It's so good. Sitting Master would absolutely be worth investing in. Way over Hokusai in my opinion. The only time Hokusai might be better is if Sitting Master was in P1, but with Sitting Master getting the buff down the road and just how much survivability he has, and he gives it to his teammates too, it's just awesome. For AoE, you've got that big chunky Artoria there, so 10-10-10 in P2, that's great for farming. You got Suzuka's backup. You also have the tank, the Void tank, for farming, I guess, depending on your CEs. You might be able to make that work. So you have a lot of good art stuff already, so maybe you level Lancelot down the road, because that is really good with Sitting Master, and it looks like you like Lancelot, because it's already 888, so you can make that work, but you don't need Lancelot because of Sigurd and Sitting Master. You're in really good shape there. Oh, you got Gwaine for farming too. You could do Gwaine or Toria, just fast charge stuff there. You got Bedivere for low cost backup as well, so you're in really good shape here. Not much need to level anything but Sitting Master. 444 is pretty bad. Now maybe you don't like Sitting Master, you're not like into the weeb stuff, and you prefer Lancelot. If that's the case, you could absolutely focus on Lancelot instead, and it's still fine. The only problem is Sigurd has kind of survivability, and Lancelot kind of has survivability, so they're kind of they almost require the supports to babysit them, and that's, you know, Sitting Master doesn't need that, and sometimes it's okay for the supports to do that, but sometimes it's not. Let me skip ahead to your casters, because that's kind of relevant. Okay, well, you've got Merlin, so, you know, there's some survivability for you. He is Buster, but you can still use him with whatever you want. That's very good for Sigurd. So Sigurd and Merlin, I mean, that can go places. And Waver, oh god. Well, with supports this strong, you can literally do whatever you want. It almost doesn't even matter anymore. It's like, fuck it. Like, you can make any of your sabers work. It doesn't matter. Like, when your account is this strong, you can literally just level at your leisure, right? You can farm with anything with Waver, and you've got self batteries leveled already. You do have some, you got that caster guild though for art stuff, but yeah, you've got Scatty for quick, Merlin for Buster, Waver for anything. I feel like you don't even need advice anymore, right? So this is probably a flex account, because this shit don't matter. Let's see here, what do we got here though? So Gil, even at NP1 is good. Not good for farming though if you're not fighting servants, but if the final enemy is a servant, it's fine. You got Merlin as well, so that's good. You got another quick charge, so very easy farming here. Your saber slot's a bit weaker though, even though Gil's really good. Well, you got that Artoria Summer, and with Caster, Gil, and Waver, that's really good. You passed the David test, so that really makes it easier to use Lancelot if you want to. Between that and Merlin, I mean, that's some survivability right there. So nice to see someone passing the David test, for God's sakes. Imia, Billy, Rosh, Tristan, if I had him. Oh, so if you had Tristan, you're going to grail him. Well, you already have David to work with them, so that's super good. Yeah, I don't think this account needs any advice, because it's going to grail. I guess GT means grail target. Medusa, Lily, Parvati. Yeah, oh man, Parvati at NP2, if she's grailed, definitely 10-10-10 that, right? That's worth those 3 lures. Because Parvati is like the ultimate AoE Lancer when it comes to just getting shit done. You know, maybe not the best for like, you know, fancy 3 turns or whatever, but actually winning, it's really good. So because you have Merlin's, Brunhilde's really good, but you have Scatty, so Scat's really good, but she is NP1, so you definitely want like a backup quick Lancer. What do we got? Well, there's always Ku, and he's already decently leveled as well. Oh, you have Enkidu, so that's like your universal just murder anything button. Yeah, I mean, your account is super strong. Oh yeah, and obviously you got Medusa Lily, and you're grailing her. And she's in P5, so you know, that'll get the job done. That'll get the job done. So you're in good shape for like you don't need Ku at that point, really. Between Scath and that, unless you like Ku, of course, but between Scath, Enkidu, and Medea Lily, you're in such good shape there. Okay, your riders, you got Ushi completely maxed. Lubu, I assume you mean red hair, and Ushi you're planning on grailing. Okay, that's good for Ushi because she's already 10-10-10, so that's a good one to grail there. So you can already beat Demeter. You've got Martha, you've got Ushi, you've got Alex, you got Ryder Kentoki. I mean, you're done, right? And then you got Drake for farming and that kind of stuff. So you've got everything you need. And you got that Quetz, even though she's in P1, it's still fine. You have no problem with Demeter on this account. You got Asclepius, that's good. So even though you got all those OP supports up there, look at the Grailed Hans. This man is not afraid of anything. Who does? No, everyone's chicken shits, right? They are like, oh yeah, I gotta get Waver and Merlin and Scatty. I don't need no Hans. This man has got the best supports in the game, and he grails Hans anyway, right? That's a champion right there. This man knows what he's doing. It looks like he wants to grail Qin Gong anyway. What a beast. I respect this. I respect this, right? Fucking 10, level 100 Hans. And it's not like he's someone that's like, oh, I don't want to use OP supports, because he made all of his OP supports 10, so he focused on them, right? Grail Qin Gong gonna be the DPS? Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, that's good stuff. That's fun. So DPS casters, what do you got? You got Cersei, that NP2, that works okay. You got shooting, bad skill ranks, but still fine. So yeah, that's okay. You got Nitocris for farming. And this account has only it's like too many options for farming. Oh, and you got Medea, Medea. This one's Medea, the other one was Medusa. Medea, Lily, Asclepius, and Martha for anti-debuff. So you're looking fantastic on the anti-debuff. You got an NP anti-debuff and 2 skill anti-debuff, so whatever you need, you got. So Kama, like best assassin in the game. She's only NP1, which that kind of sucks, but she's still amazing. You got Lee. You don't really need Lee is super good, but if you have Kama and Jack already, you don't need Lee that much unless you want to do art stuff. So if he was like a high NP rank, sure, but you got Wu at NP5, Jesus, so that's a lot of good stuff for your quick units. You got a Max Shiki, you got Kurotsugu to work with that. You got a backup 100 face at 10, nice clean 70, 10 there. Gonna grail Kurotsugu. We might want to get those skill ranks up first. Great synergy though with your art units. You have so many art units. You have Izo, 100 face, Kurotsugu, Shiki, right? A lot of them have good skill ranks. You got Waver and Caster Gil, right? I mean, your options there are ridiculous. You leveled Phantom for some reason. I bet you leveled Phantom for the memes, and then because you were doing a lottery event and you didn't know what else to do with your XP. I totally know it. Waiting for animation update for Amada Hari. Feels bad. My fave class in the game is Assassin. I wouldn't have guessed that, to be honest, because a lot of your other ones are more upgraded and stuff. I didn't think you dislike Assassin, but I wouldn't have guessed that if you didn't say it. My fave class in the game is Assassin. I love either their gameplay or their cool-ass personality, lore, really fun class. DW changed the class multiplier. Yeah, their class multiplier could be better. There are a lot of fun Assassins. I think Kurotsugu with 100 face is just... oh my god, it's so much fun. And it works with Shiki too. I need a video with that gameplay. I love it to death. Alright, so you got, oh my god, grailed, Captain would be proud. I got grailed Caligula there. At some point it's worth the lures on Jerker, but your account's so strong you can do it at your leisure, right? You can save the lures for someone else. But Jerker's always good for bosses. Although, depending on your extra classes, you might have an extra class for every occasion, so you don't really need the Berserker. You got pretty good options, and you got Lobo at NP2. There's your buff removal. NP5 Angra, that's a pure flex right there. You've got so you got Avengers for rulers. You got Mash maxed out. You got Gorgon for rulers. She's grailed even, recently grailed apparently. You got Alter Ego for Foreigner, and Melt is one of the best Alter Egos. So you don't really need a Berserker anytime soon, really. So if you don't want to give her the lures, you don't have to at all. And Spartacus for farming. Yeah, this is a very prepared... and you have all these K-scopes. So easy for the farming. Golden Sumo, level 100. You hate to see it when someone's got a Golden Sumo and they didn't level it. This guy knows what's up. Yeah, this account, definitely a flex, but he's definitely prepared, right? Double Poster Girl. Canis CD. Yeah, that's the right one. But double Poster Girl. Oh my god, he could do Poster Girl Merlin, Poster Girl Waver, right? God, this account is disgusting, right? You never have any... like, I want to make sure my account does well against challenge quests. You're never going to have a hard time with challenge quests. And the fact that you don't farm much is pretty impressive, because your account's in great shape. I mean, you made good choices. All your supports are maxed. A lot of DPS is maxed. Very powerful account. Do we have an Apple picture? Nope. God damn it. Worst account review ever. Banned. Removed. I'm kidding, obviously. But yeah, no Apple, feels bad. Alright, boys. That was a good account, though. That was a very prepared account right there. And that was Shadow. Shadow 20. Alright, I think we're gonna wrap up there, chat. I feel bad. Today's stream was kind of scuffed, but, you know, weather was atrocious, and I kind of started late and everything. I'm only on chapter 7? Hold on, how many chapters is London? I don't think London is too long. America, though... Oh my god, every time I say it, I just dread. It's so freaking boring. London is 13 chapters, so... about halfway. A lot of bosses at the end, too. Actually, the end of London, I think, will be fun. But thank you, everybody. I really appreciate the support. I mean, things have been going better for my stream than ever, and I don't know why. I feel like I'm being lazier than ever. I'm not, like, being a go-getter right now. I'm kind of just chilling, but, you know, you gotta have your... You can't go 100% all the time, right? You gotta chill sometimes. Alright, what do we got here? We got... Oh, the Phantom of the Opera guy is streaming, so we will definitely raid him. I think he's playing the main story? Yeah, he's doing Lostbelt 4 right now or something. Chilling with the nickels? Nope, nope, no nickels here. I don't even know if there's any change around me at all right now. But, alright boys. Relax, Ark. Yeah, indeed. Lostbelt 6 was a chaotic time, so I kind of need it. Anyway, I will see you all tomorrow. I'm out of here. At some point, we're going to do a bonus stream, I swear. I just got to start streaming sooner so I have time to do them.
Welcome. Enjoy the ad-free viewing experience. Enjoy the emotes. Enjoy